The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Rex Ryan wants to coach the New York Jets again. Is that a good idea? We will talk about that and much more with JetX founder Robby Sabo, who joins us in his weekly spot. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go on a Tuesday, October 29th. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show. And warning to those of you watching live, I am in no mood. So if you say something silly, the trigger finger is quick today to Stupid Town after last night's pathetic Yankee performance. And, well, if you're watching the show, you know how the Jets have been doing this season. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is the co-founder of JetX and JetsXFactor.com, Robby Sabo. Hello, Robby.
Oh, Jakey boy, those Yankees. What do you do? What can you do? It's not 1998 anymore, I guess.
Nope. And look, the Dodgers are really good. Dodgers are a better team. But, man, it just eats at you how pathetic this offense has looked besides really Stanton, Soto, Torres. They had game 1-1. And then, man, they basically got shut out last night till the ninth inning. Just brutal. Hopefully they win today. You don't want to get swept. Show some pride. By the way, to all the Yankee fans out there who want to hang out, I say this normally with the Jets, but commiserate and watch the World Series together. I'm doing a watch party tonight with ESPN New York at Vanderbilt Market, located right next to Grand Central Station. All right, Robby, a lot to get into here. I know you have some strong thoughts on the possibility of Rex Ryan being the next Jet head coach, but let's start with a little postmortem from Sunday. First time I'm having you on since that debacle. What do you make of that game and where the Jets are at now? 2-6 with another game fastly approaching Thursday night on Halloween against the Texans.
More of the same. It's, and we know the Pats stink, but this exemplifies what they're struggling through because it doesn't matter the talent of the other team, whether it's the Vikings or whomever. It's a close game. They play it close. They're timid. The Jarius Monroe miss on that blitz on the big play that got the post to Boutte that got them down inside the 5. How do you miss that? You can't miss that. That's playing timid. I know he got thrown in the fire. I don't want to kill Monroe, but it worked. Unfortunately, the Pats had a max protect on, and Sauce turns his hips to the outside for some crazy reason. I don't know why. So it comes down to timidness, not being confident, not having sound fundamentals. Drake May scampering out of the pocket in the first quarter relentlessly. Solomon Thomas getting pushed to the right side. The herd media members, the Jets are sending 3 to one side and 1 to... That's not what they were doing. Solomon Thomas was just getting pushed over there. So many different things. They don't know who they are. You can't force chemistry. We've seen it in sports a million different times. They have talent. You want to call it overrated? Fine, go for it. But the fact is they have talent, and coaching is huge. Ulbrich was put in an impossible spot. I told Corbett this last night. It feels like not one player in the Salah era has ever felt like he's walking on eggshells. Like his career and life is on the line. And, you could love Salah. That's great. But, if many guys, Lawrence Taylor hated Parcells initially, hated the man until they started to realize what he actually did for them in the long run. And I think that's the main thing that was missing from its core. And then other things have sprinkled in, like Rodgers' stubbornness with the offense and what have you.
Can I read to you some of the coaching mistakes that is not always 100% on coaching? I think some of these things, hey, the quarterback Aaron Rodgers has to be, blamed for. But I'm just going to read you this list here. This is from Shel Kapadia, who covers the NFL for The Athletic. Or actually, sorry, he's with The Ringer. He wrote this in an article today. He said the Jets' loss to the Patriots was one of the worst in-game coaching performances he has seen all year. Here were all the miscues that occurred in this game. 1, before their third offensive play of the game, they couldn't get lined up correctly and had to waste a timeout. 2, after that timeout, Aaron Rodgers threw an incompletion on third down. Instead of going for it on 4th and 3 from the New England 40-yard line, they went the cowardly route, and Rodgers tried to draw the Patriots offsides, failed, and the Jets punted. Now, I will say this.
That's not fair.
Part of that decision, I think, is the inability to have any confidence in your kicker, and rightfully so, which I blame Ulbrich and blame Douglas for allowing that to continue. I'm just going to get through more of these things here, and then we can talk about it. 3, with 2:15 left in the first quarter, the play clock was winding down again, and they had to use their second timeout. 4, after that timeout, the center snapped the ball into his butt for a fumble. The Jets recovered. Before the next play, the play clock was nearing 0 again, and they used their third timeout. Let me reiterate. They used their third timeout before the first quarter was even over. This is not normal behavior. Oh, you didn't think I was finished, did you? 4, they made actually, this is 5. I can't even keep track of all the mistakes. They made another cowardly coaching decision in the third quarter when they opted to kick a field goal on 4th and 1 from the Patriots' 11-yard line. And then finally, after their last touchdown, the Jets decided to go for 2. Good decision. Only problem, they couldn't get the ball snapped in time and took a delay-a-game penalty. The Jets are apparently the only team in the NFL that doesn't understand you get only 40 seconds between plays. All this occurred in this game where they lost by 3 to arguably the worst team in the NFL, and the Jets went out there and they basically said, we want to lose because we will find new ways to do it game in, game out. And then finally, this is the stat that has been out there. The Jets became the first team in NFL history to score 20 points, not turn the ball over, allow fewer than 250 yards, and still lose. In NFL history, teams were 750-1, including the playoffs, when generating that box score. And the Jets became the first team to lose while doing that. Only the mother effing New York Jets.
Yeah, the try to draw him off sides aspect that he pointed out, that item, that's not fair. Every team, a lot of teams do that. Everything else,
they should have just went for it though, Robbie. That's the point.
Everything else completely fair because what was the score on the 4th and 1 from the 11? Because the situation matters there, but I'm nitpicking. Nevertheless, this operation has been flawed from the start. It's not removing Salah. Like Rodgers has had issues getting the play off since week 1. It's been a disaster. And this is not even getting into the stuff in terms of play. Like I just said, May scampering out. It's as if guys tackle and guys do things defensively for themselves instead of playing for the person next to them. Our coaches, the team I help coach, Port Jervis, shout out Port Jervis, New York. Sloppy tackling is remedied when you start thinking about the guy next to you. What's my job? Inside out, outside in. What's my rush lane? Which areas can I not go? If I'm covering, where's my help? What do I do? What can't I do? What's the situation? And in the Salah era, without Salah, it doesn't matter. Since 2021, it's like they've played for themselves a bit too much. Now, there have been some spurts where that hasn't been the case. I mean, think about when they were 5-2, 7-4, 2 years ago. They were doing the sound things, but something happened along the way where it all went kablooey, and I just don't know what it is. So the person who wrote that list, yeah, it's all fair. Like, it's inexcusable to have that stuff happening, but it goes so much deeper than that.
The score when Ulbrich kicked the field goal on 4th and 1, the Jets were trailing 13-14 because Zerline had already missed an extra point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, was it third quarter at the time? I forget already.
The situation was the third quarter, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way, especially with that score to try to grab the lead. But I don't think their problem has been not going for it. They've gone for it plenty of times. I just think it's in terms of scheme. Like the 3rd-and-1 counter to Brees that didn't work a couple weeks ago. The 4th-and-1 straightforward run, I forget what it was, to Braylon Allen where they didn't get it. It's scheme. The defense is ready for it. The defense knows what's coming. So from a general perspective, I don't think it's, a cowardly thing in terms of what they're doing, but scheme. They're not putting guys in the right position, and guys are not playing for the teammate next to them.
It's just as bad as it's been, Robbie. Seriously. And I talked about this with Joe B yesterday. He's been a fan of the team since 1965. You're older than me, but in my lifetime, this is the worst it's ever been. I mean, for you, your thoughts on that?
In terms of when you throw expectations into the mix, this is probably the worst it's ever been. 99 rivals it, because Vinny going down right away, that was a true Super Bowl team. This, even though people talked about it, we didn't know for sure. Like, they never proved anything. So 99 rivals it, but in terms of actual production and output and play on the field, this isn't close to the Kotite era. I mean, this team, 5-game losing streak, but they're in every freaking game, and it's a bounceable ball, and it's a confidence thing, and it's the details thing. It's attention to details. The Kotite teams are so much worse. I think only seven of their 15 losses were 1-score games in 96 under Kotite. The majority of them were just blowouts, 2 possessions or more. They're losing these games by, a coin flip. So in terms of production, no, it's not the worst. Expectations, sure, you could absolutely call it that.
Well, that to me is the thing, right? Like, clearly this team's better than that Kotite team or the Gase team in 2020. But the difference is, like, it was all in for this year. Like, last year ended 4 plays in, essentially, and we had to wait to see what this team would look like with this quarterback. And we thought the roster, I still believe this, is better than the roster they had a year ago overall. And for this team to be 2-6, and a big reason why they're 2-6, for the second year in a row, this general manager has sat on his ass and allowed one position to destroy the season. Last year, it was the inability to add any competent backup quarterback to give yourself more of a shot. This year, it's allowing Greg Zuerlein, who was excellent last year. We all know how good he was. He's not doing it on purpose, but he's shot. It's in his head, or he's too old, whatever. He has now cost them at least 2, if not 3 games. And think about how different this year would be if they were just 4-4 right now. Wouldn't be ideal, but you'd be searching for answers how to fix some of these problems. Maybe you could. You can't fix an incompetent kicker. And as we sit here on Tuesday morning, the answer we got yesterday from this in-over-his-head interim head coach is that they're going to have a kicking competition today, and Zuerlein's going to be a part of it. Give me a break. Get him out of here.
Where is Joe Douglas, number one? A few things. Where is Joe Douglas, number one? There's a lot of mystery within the organization right now, which is troubling, quite frankly. But number two, the reason why I bring up the actual production and output and talent level now compared to 96 is because I keep hearing Jets fans say, how could it get any worse? It can get a million times worse than this. Are you kidding me? Like, there's actual talent on the roster. In 2008, the Favre experiment happened. They go 8-3. They beat Tennessee. We think they're the best team in the league after that. Favre gets hurt. They go down. Woody fires Mangini, which Jets fans were irate about. And, the great Favre experiment ends. They were all in on that year. The next year, what happens? Rex takes over. They have a miracle in 2009 after being 7-7. Great run to the title game. 2010, they're a legitimately good team with the best roster in the league, sans a quarterback. Other than the quarterback, best roster in the league. So it's a year-to-year league in the NFL. So I wouldn't. 2 things. It could get a lot worse. And number 2, things could change very quickly. It's not all in and the future's destroyed. Things could happen very quickly where they're good next year.
Well, it all comes down to who your coach is, who your GM is, and obviously
got to find the leader. Got to find the leader.
Is. I mean, yes. I use the Texans as a great example. The team they're playing Thursday. I mean, they were a bigger joke than the Jets. They had a preacher running their organization, and then they got some luck along the way. Sure, right? They wanted Bryce Young. They end up with C.J. Stroud, but they hired the right GM and Nick Caserio, who I was very critical of for a couple of years, but he's proved me wrong. And then they went out there and they hired D'Amico Ryans, and he's done a very good job. And it's like that's really what it comes down to, which is a good segue here, Robbie. And once again, for those watching live, if you have a comment or question for us to address, super chat it in, and we will make sure we bring it up on the screen. Also, if you want to support the show, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We're about, I think, 95 subscribers away from 40K. So help us get to 40,000 by clicking that subscribe button and support the show that way. Rex Ryan, in a weekly appearance on the station I do some work for, ESPN New York, he said yesterday he would absolutely love to be the head coach of the NYJ once again. If you missed it, here was the exchange on DiPietro and Rothenberg on 880 ESPN New York.
If you got that call, would you answer it? Would you consider being the head coach of this team?
Oh, I'd do it in a second. I'd do it in a second because I am a New York Jet, and I absolutely would. But I'm not here to politic and it seems like it because I tell the damn truth, and I speak as a fan of this football team and in this community. That's why it makes sense. So yeah, we'll see. I hope I get an opportunity to interview for it. That's absolutely a given. I hope I get that opportunity.
I'll tell you what, Robby. I'm not saying he's going to get the job. I would be really surprised if he doesn't at least get a head coaching interview when it's all said and done.
The only thing that surprised me more is, and I understand why there's a strong feeling about this, but it surprised me how many Jets fans are on board with wanting Rex back. That has surprised me more, the actual percentage of the fan base, than this Jets losing streak. Listen, Rex, it's a nostalgic feeling, and I get it. There's desperation. I get it. Rex came in, and he says he's not here to politic, yet he's politicking. I mean, he's politicking. So he came in 2009, did a great job with a fantastic team. Angel on his shoulder in 2009, no doubt. They were 7-7. The Colts didn't dress anybody, sat everyone, but still did a great job those first 2 years. It's not a good sign when a guy takes over and everything goes to crap little by little each year. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to have to hire a head coach and have the perfect situation. Okay, if you tell me Rex is going to come in and he has Callahan, he has Bill Callahan, he has the best O-line in franchise history, he has Revis, he has Mike Westhoff, one of the best special teams coaches of all time. If you tell me he comes in and he has the perfect scenario like 2009, okay, well, let's do it. But you want your leader to make the perfect scenario. And if Rex was that guy, he would have figured it out, in the 4 years after 2010, or with Buffalo after that. Plus, the game is completely different. Like Rex, what do you remember from Rex? The blustery guy who, hey, I'm a Jet. You love that. Wearing his heart on his sleeve, that pride, grinding it at practice. Hey, I love goal line in the rain. Chris Jenkins, Hard Knocks, let's do it. Different league. You can't do that. You can only have 11 or 13 padded practices all year. You can't have 2-a-days. It's a different game, folks. Like, I think it's a fantastical, just nostalgic idea. And I get it. I get it because you long for something and you want to see success. But I don't think Rex is the answer.
The question with Rex would be, if you hire him, he hasn't coached in 8 years. Who's on his staff? Who's the GM that he's working with? Because if you remember, Rex inherited, as you accurately brought up, a very, very good football team with a rookie quarterback. That was the thing. The Jets in 08 were a really good team, 8-3, and then Favre played through the bicep injury, and that sunk their season. But they were a very good team that he
Unbelievable.
Inherited. And Rex, I think, is a really good game day coach, good motivator, and he hired a tremendous staff, but that's a long time ago. He hasn't coached in 8 years. Who's on his staff? Who's the GM? Rex can't be too involved with deciding the personnel either, because that was the downfall of those Jet teams. Once Mangini was gone and it was on Tannenbaum and Rex to make those decisions, the drafts plummeted.
And I keep hearing Jets fans saying, oh, Rex wasn't the GM. Idzik was. You sure about that? Idzik was a financial guy. Like, do we not remember those times, the power Rex had in personnel? I shake my head. I can't believe it, honestly.
Well, he lost some power when Idzik took over. But if you remember, 2011, 2012, look at those drafts, man. Rex was heavily involved in Kyle Wilson and Quentin Copus. And I'm a Rex guy. I'm not as anti this idea as some. I just have a ton of questions with this. Now, the one thing I'll say for Rex.
He lost, by the way, power, quote unquote, from Woody's mouth.
Right.
Did it actually happen?
Him and Idzik clearly butted heads. That's why they had no corners in 2013 and 2014. It's just, I look at it like this. If you were to actually go down this path, I would need to know who his staff is, who's the offensive coordinator, because it's a major question in today's NFL. And, Rex, he ran the 4-6 defense when he was the Jet head coach. That's not the personnel that the Jets have right now. So what's the plan there?
I love Beningo, but to suggest he should come in now and demote Ulbrich to DC, I mean, he's a 3-4 coach, Rex. This is a 4-3 scheme. Like, it doesn't. You can't do that. It's impossible. It's absurd. And I don't know. Listen, I love Rex. At the time, I was angry Mangini was gone because he did so many great things in terms of building the team. And Rex, while he got those 2 results, he sold the future for now, basically, in a lot of regards. That he was, let's be honest, his presence was the start of the downfall of the franchise. And I don't know how anyone can dispute that.
Well, to me, what started it was the decision Woody made, splitting Tannenbaum and Rex. It was either they both should have gone or they both should have stayed.
For sure.
That was really the problem here, if you think about it. So that's why I would need to know what GM is Rex working with. And I'll say this, Rex's son is an assistant coach on the Detroit Lions. You could tell me you get the Lions assistant GM with Rex, and that's something that they want to explore. I'm not as anti the idea. My concern is, though, Robby hasn't coached in 8 years. I know Dick Vermeil was 15 years between Philadelphia and St. Louis, and he won a Super Bowl. So it's happened. The game was still different now.
Yeah, the game was still relatively in place. Like the years Vermeil took off from the 80s until he came back. Since 2008, 2009, right around the time Rex was coaching the Jets, it's been a different game. That's when the rules really took hold. Mm-hmm. Rex was like the last bastion of the old school NFL in a lot of ways. And Woody, I think that was a mistake too. Woody splitting those 2 up. But I mean, did Mikey T and Rex really do well personnel wise? No, it was Mikey T and Mangini. Once it was Mikey T and Rex, it was awful personnel wise for those 2-3 years. So they really were the start of the downfall, those 2.
They were. And then they kept making bad moves after that. And that's how you eventually get to, where we are in present day. But I think with Rex, I would prefer him over some other defensive coordinator that's never been a coach before. My big thing is I want an offensive guy, if you're going to go the coordinator route, who's never done it, or someone with experience. And Rex would be on my list of guys you consider with previous head coaching experience that have had success. But I would want Mike Vrabel before I'd want Rex. I'd want Kevin Stefanski before I'd want Rex. Mm-hmm. And if legally they could work it out with Gruden and the NFL, I would take Gruden over Rex. Just 1, he's coached more recently, and 2, he's an offensive-minded guy.
Yeah, I'd rule out Rex completely. It's a different game. It's a completely different game, and there's a reason no one's touched him. It's you can't hope and pray the guy you choose is in the perfect situation. You got to pick the guy that makes the perfect situation happen for himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in a different world. This I'd want to see what it would look like with Rex being back.
I mean, my nostalgic heart is with you. It's like, man, you want to run through a wall for that guy. You want that pride, because part of Jets fandom, being a Jets fan, no home field advantage. Yes, you have an identity, but it's an identity kind of on the outskirts. You don't have the same identity as other teams, like the Packers at Lambeau, because you have a specific community, you have a specific home. You're kind of, as a Jets fan, you're kind of a nomad. And Rex coming in and the way he spoke and the way he presented himself, play like a Jet, all these monikers, it brought a sense of pride and feeling and warm fuzziness that has never been seen prior. So I get it completely. I think it's a whole different world, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, it would be interesting. I would have questions. I don't think it's as bad of an idea as you, because I've heard Rex talk about how he thinks he'd be a much better coach today than he was then. He's learned a lot.
Yeah, I don't. This as a purely defensive minded, talking about that. I love Rex. I've loved him since he took over. I loved him in Baltimore. He does some really good things. I just don't know. I have questions about the strategy end of it with his defense.
I mean, if this job is as bad as some try to make it out to be, Rex might be one of the few options you could get. I mean, that's the other argument too. Like, who else wants this job that's a top candidate?
In terms of on its face, forget the Jets personnel. Would I rather have Rex's defensive scheme or Salah's? I'm taking Rex's all the way. It's not even a question. Even in today's league.
Yep. That's fair. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm warning every Jet fan that's anti this. He's going to get an interview. And you know what? I think Rex should get an interview. I have no problem with that.
I have no. I mean, listen, I have no problem with the interview. I just listen, Rex. No human's perfect, but Rex is a politicker. Let's be honest. And you could see in a case where he gets an interview, even if he's not the best candidate for the job, he talks Woody into hiring him. Can't you see that situation happening? So I think him getting an interview and him and the organization being open to that opens up a can of worms that may or may not be good.
Rex or Mike McCarthy?
It's like Kamala and Trump. I mean, I can't even pick one or the other, to be honest. I would default to Rex simply because of his passion for the Jets and his want to succeed for the Jets.
Rex or Aaron Glenn?
I'd go Aaron Glenn.
Interesting. So you would go with a first-time defensive coordinator over bringing back Rex. I just wanted to get a gauge on kind of where you're at because I know you're pro offense. Like, obviously, you would take Ben Johnson over Rex. You take Vrabel over Rex.
Vrabel's number one. Ben Johnson is right there. Yeah, I think even though it's failed in Jetland, it succeeds in a lot of places across the NFL, taking the scheme first hot OC. Whether you look at McVay or LaFleur or all these guys across the league, it works in a lot of places. O'Connell, you just got to do the right. You just got to get the right guy. You got to get the right guy. It comes down to that.
Rex Ryan or Brian Flores?
That's a tough one too. I'd go Brian Flores. Simply due to the fact that he has been immersed in today's modern NFL. But that's a good shout out with those two because they're both blitz heavy guys. Flores definitely does it from a different perspective.
Rex Ryan or Brian Dable if he's fired by the Giants?
Dable.
I think I would agree with that.
Not even hesitation. Dable.
Yep.
Dable's a good, in my view. Listen, I know results matter, but in my view, Dable's a hell of a coach.
The more I look into Brian Flores, the more I'm open to it. It does kind of scare me. It's like, oh, here's another former Dolphin guy, but at least he's not going from the Dolphins right to the Jets. He would have been a coordinator for a couple of years, and
Flores scares me.
Yeah, we're seeing some guys with their second time around have success. Todd Bowles, an example we could point to in Tampa. We could point to Dan Quinn with the Commanders. There's something to be said for experience, and I really do value that with this coaching search for the Jets, Robby, because I'm tired of these guys coming in, not knowing how to deal with New York, not knowing how to deal with this crazy fan base, New York eating them alive. We started to see that with Salah, and I just feel like you don't want someone learning on the job. You need someone that's done it, had success, this fan base can rally around.
Agreed. And I think on top of that, which might be even more important, is finding the guy who could handle the modern NFL in the most old school way. And I think anyone who's opining for Rex, that's the best argument for Rex. That he's an old school guy. It's a modern NFL. How does he handle it? I don't know if he'd handle it well, but there's a case that could be made that he could come in, have an old school twist on sort of handling the players in a modern way. Which is very difficult. And I think Salah was too lenient in terms of trusting the guys, not applying enough pressure. Does Rex do that? I don't know, but I think that's a very key issue. You got to establish an environment in which, people aren't timid or anxious, but they understand they have to go above and beyond to keep their job. And I think far too many guys have gotten loose and relaxed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Robby Sabo of JetsXFactor.com. Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Help the algorithm show this show to more diehard Jet fans. We're seeking more subscribers as well. I'm going to emphasize this all week. We're close to our goal of 40,000 subscribers. I'm at 39,917. So help support the show by hitting the subscribe button. We're presented today by my friends at Huga House. Get the hat I'm wearing or any of the awesome hats from Huga House by going to their website right now and using promo code Asman at checkout. You'll save 15%. Buy one hat from Huga House. Get the second hat 30% off. Last week, they just dropped 6 brand new hats. So check it out. Get the hat I'm wearing or any of the hats you see up there on the screen. Go to their website right now, hugahouse.com, and use promo code Asman at checkout. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line as we talk with Robby Sabo. Robby, Jets are a slight favorite somehow in this game on Thursday. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, Vegas loves the Jets, and I know, everyone says, "Oh, Vegas doesn't set the lines; it's the people that." Vegas is the all-encompassing term for the line being set. Um, it's crazy to me, but at the same time, again, they have talent. They've been in every game. They're just not buttoned up, and it would be just like the Jets to come out and play great and win this game. So, I
Now
wouldn't
that
be
everyone's
putting
checked out and thinks the season's officially cooked, this would be the game they win. You're right.
Exactly. I wouldn't put my money on the Jets, but hey, it's crazy, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. I look at it like this, right? I mean, we were still holding out hope. Hey, beat New England. Maybe you could beat Houston. And then all of a sudden, you got 2 winnable games before the bye. Now everyone's like, what? They're done. Season's over. And it's like, they're going to go out there and win. Now, I wouldn't pick the Jets. In fact, I'm picking the Houston Texans to win. But you are right. In Jet history, this is classic. They win this game that, no one's expecting them to win.
Yes, it would play out that way. Now, am I not expecting
We just saw
it?
Cleveland beat the Ravens, so it could happen.
Right. And Thursday night game at home is an advantage. Let's be honest, and that's what happened against the Pats in Week 3. So the Jets get that again. I guess that's sort of a replacement for being on the road the first 2 weeks, but nonetheless, they're searching for something, and if they could find it, just that one thing where they come together and they actually breathe and take a deep breath, which I know Rodgers acknowledged it on McAfee after I was on with you a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some good things could happen. We'll see, but I don't think anyone should expect it, or I mean, I guess you could hope for it, but I got to see it before I start believing in it.
People have asked why the Jets are favorites, and I don't think they should be. I think the Texans should be like a 3-point favorite if I was setting the line. But I think the Jets are slight favorites because you already brought it up. They're home, which is a big advantage on Thursday night football. 2, the Texans will not have Nico Collins. They will not likely have Stephon Diggs either. In fact, I think he's already been ruled out. So they're down their 2 best wide receivers. So it's just really Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz as far as, their pass catching options for Stroud. And I also think, like, while the Jets' record's 2-6, maybe Vegas views the Jets like, hey, if they had replacement level kicking, they would have a couple more wins right now, and this line wouldn't be as crazy. You know what I mean? Like we look at it like the Jets are terrible, they're 2-6, but anyone who's watched this team has realized that if they just had replacement level kicking, forget just last year's version of Greg Zuerlein, they would have at least 1, if not 2, maybe 3 wins. So maybe that's why the line is what it is, but I'm not picking the Jets.
No, throw out emotion, throw out expectations coming into the year, and let's face it, this is a 2-6 team. That's not really, they shouldn't really be looked at 2-6. They should be looked at better based on how the results happen. So I see it in that light, but it'll still be a challenge. Tank Dell, how are they going to play it? Sauce, and I think Sauce is hurt, by the way. I don't know what's hurt, but besides Zuerlein, his drop off from the first 2 years to this year has been mind boggling. Honestly, Jake, what do you see from Sauce right now? And what can you make of it? I can't figure it out, and I'm watching as much film as I can on him.
I mean, I almost hope he's hurt because that would explain some of his poor play. I mean, this past game, getting beat by an unnamed guy named Booty. Are you kidding me?
Booty, yeah. It's fundamentals. He was gambling. He turned his hips to the outside on that big.
Well, if he's gambling, we got a real problem.
No, true. Yeah, true. He was gambling for the.
Hopefully, he used promo code Asman and he helped support the show if he's gambling.
True. Shout out. You can't gamble. Stick to the fundamentals. Stick to your technique, and you'll be fine. And I see that from Reed. He's sticking to it. Michael Carter always sticks to it. But Sauce is kind of, you gotta see him return to that all business mode, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're tuning in. JetsXFactor.com founder Robby Sabo is with us here. We'll be joined by Andrew Fialco of Jets X Factor this afternoon, go through some film and talk about the state of the Jets. And a reminder, you could go to JetsXFactor.com right now and use promo code ASMAN, and you could get your first month of your Jet X membership for 99 cents. Robby, tell the good people all about what a Jet X membership is all about.
Oh, yes. Film, analytics, all the good stuff for 99 cents that first month. Just use promo code ASMAN. JetsXFactor.com on the website, or JetX Mobile on Apple or Android. So, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, the film will speak for itself. And right now it's bad. And, I put out a clip yesterday, a meandering clip, because I think sometimes with film, to get a better picture, you have to kind of go through the process upon first glance. A lot of people with film just cut it up and put out certain things. I kind of want to get my full thought process out there in real time without looking at it first. So some of you hate it. You got time. You don't have time to burn. Some of you love it. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to be there at JetX.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to your super chats. We will mix in your calls as well on the Gustbuster hotline. We'll start off with this one from Spacecaster. Thank you for supporting us, Spacecaster. Rodgers can't move laterally. Keep refusing to play. Blame on 8 when leg legitimately can't move. Sub-average quarterback play, but let's keep blaming GM and kicker. Our quarterback can't move. Rodgers is not blameless in all this, but I'm sorry.
No.
If you think that he's why they're 2-6, you haven't been paying attention. Aaron Rodgers this season statistically is on pace for one of the better seasons in Jet history, which is sad. 62% completion percentage, 4,029 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 picks. Well, obviously it's not great, but we thought, hey, if he did something close to that, right? He was about the 18th to 23rd best quarterback if he was just kind of average, right? They'd be able to win games with this defense and special teams and running game, which they don't have this year. So he's not blameless. He hasn't been great, but he did his job on the final drive. He led them on what should have been a game-winning touchdown, and then the defense gagged against Jacoby Brissett. Give me a break.
Third down defense. You can't win a game when you play third down defense like that and continuously give up first downs. You also can't win if you can't rush the ball. And, against the Pats, this was one of the better rushing days for the Jets. And that is sad because it pales in comparison to what the Pats were giving up on the ground the previous 2 or 3 weeks. So what can you say? But I will say this, there's a major difference between healthy Rodgers at 40 and injured Rodgers at 40.
Oh, yeah.
And both Pats games, week 3, and then this past Sunday, are evidence number 1. The first game against the Pats, he was moving, he could do things. But if you're banged up a little bit, it's going to be injured Rodgers. And you could still win with that. They should have won. They should have won many of these games.
Should have won the Buffalo game, too. He was good in that game. He threw for 300 yards and had a passer rating of 100.
Their offense is moving the ball. But as he said afterwards, their goal has to be to get to 30. And that's the new age NFL. It really is. Unless you want to be in a tight nut cruncher at the end, that's got to be your goal in offense.
It's just, look, he's not blameless here. Obviously, he's not been great, but clearly he's not what he was, but he's also playing hurt. You could see it. If you watch, I went back yesterday just to see it again. If you watch him against New England in week 3, moving around off schedule, off platform throws, extending plays, and then you watch him now, he's not even close to what that guy was. No. He's taken a beating. It all started with the Denver game. Then he got twisted up in the game I was at in London. He's on the injury report with 3 injuries right now. Hamstring, ankle, knee. He's not healthy, but it still should have been good enough to beat the crappy Patriots on Sunday if the defense doesn't allow, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the game, Jacoby Brissett to go down the field and dog walk him.
Yeah. Yep. The dog walk him is perfect. And the defense has to start playing for the guy next to them, period. Stop playing for yourself. Stop being selfish and play for the guy next to you. And, I don't want to get on everyone because a lot of guys are doing the right thing. But this extends to some players that have that feel infallible to some fans, like Quincy Williams. A lot of people say, oh, he's the best Jet defender, but makes a great play. He makes great plays. He makes flashy plays. He's done really great things, had a great season last year, but there are a lot of sloppy run fills on his part where he's not doing the sound thing. And that has a ripple effect through the unit, through the entire defense. The defensive line, you have to contain the quarterback. Josh Allen, their entire game plan was to contain the quarterback. Don't let him outside the pocket. What burned them on D against the Bills? Allen breaking the pocket. So if you're going to have a game plan where you're containing the quarterback, yet you let him squirt out, you're destroyed because you're not going to collect sacks because you're not going full bore at him. It's doing your job and playing for the guy next to you. That's what they have to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Sabo is our guest. We're talking all things Jets. We opened our show a little while ago, reacting to Rex Ryan's comments about wanting to be the HC of the NYJ once again. So check that out if you missed it. Chet's Johnny with an Asmaniac super chat. He's been here for 7 months. Thank you, Johnny. Did we forget the end of Rex's tenure? His time in Buffalo. It's easy to make all the right decisions from a desk. Not one Rex for me. Or he doesn't want Rex or whatever. Yeah, look, I understand that. I think there's a lot of Jet fans who agree with you. My thing is, I think he's going to get an interview. And I'd be curious to hear in that interview who his staff would be. Right? Also, who's the GM going to be? Because I think if the Jets were smart, they hire the GM first, and then they were to hire the head coach. Because I'm operating under the premise Joe Douglas, who doesn't have a contract, is not going to be here next year, considering how this year has gone and the fact that he's 29-62 as we sit here and tape this podcast.
And what's interesting? Who's the owner going to be? I mean, if Trump wins, is Woody overseas again? Like that's the other yo-yo here. That's insane because Gase was hired when he was overseas.
Is Chris Johnson going to hire another horrific head coach again?
Right. So it's like, and then we thought Chris Johnson got it right with Douglas and Saleh. So there's so many things up in the air. I don't know. What's interesting is Douglas was with Baltimore when Rex was there, no?
It's a good question. I'd imagine there was some crossover there.
Yeah. So, might be opening up a can of worms here, but is there a possibility where those two are in harmony in some form or fashion? It's something to think about.
I mean, if Woody really wants Rex, he could say, Joe, I'll bring you back, but you got to work for Rex. I mean, that'd be the one.
I'm not trying to give Woody ideas here, but it just crossed my mind that there might be some crossover there. But yeah, I'm steadfast against Rex. I think
thinking is overrated.
Yeah.
So is winning. Amazing. I mean, look, if the Jets are going to be bad, at least they'd be entertaining with Rex. That's one way I look at it. Like, if they're never going to be good in our lifetimes. I'd say it's over. At least Rex will give us some fun moments. He cares. Yeah, the bar's pretty low, but I know and I'll say this: they wouldn't be 2-6 if Rex was coaching them this year. No way, not with his talent.
I don't know. I tend to agree with you, but I don't know. There were a lot of things that he did that held them back offensively during his era, and it's a completely different game. I don't know. It's tough to say.
Could he adapt to today's game? We won't know. I don't think they're going to hire him, but I do
he
think
had a hard time. He had a hard time adapting in Buffalo. It's I don't know. I need a guy. It's tough. You got to find that guy. You got to find that right guy. And I wish it's like every fan feels this way. You wish you could do something to help, but sadly, there's nothing you could do.
I'm running it up the poll for those watching live right now. If you're one of the 700 people in here, thank you. God bless you. We're all in this together. Should the Jets rehire Rex Ryan? Yes or no? Ladies and gentlemen, the poll is live.
Okay. My prediction would be close to 50-50. Maybe no gets 55%, 58, 60%, but I think it's going to be very close to 50-50.
I think it's 75 no, 25 yes.
Really? You think 75 no? Okay.
I do. I think the Rex truthers, if we're going to call them that, I don't have a name for them yet. They are a very loud minority.
I tend to agree with you, but the thing is, it's on social media, and the loud minority is on social media.
Right.
So the entire fan base, I would agree with you. It's more no, but maybe a social media poll would be closer to 50-50. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Morning Woody checks in. How about Woody bringing in a tandem of Rex and Pete Carroll? Pete running the general management. Rex is the head coach. Just need a good offensive coordinator. I mean, do we know Pete Carroll would make a good general manager? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Nah, I mean, he's a great head coach. I would hire him in a heartbeat in that regard. But GM, do they know each other?
Pete Carroll wanted like the Parcells, Godfather role. Like he could help hire work with Woody to help hire the GM and coach. Like
that would be great. Sure,
I'd be open to that. And I think Pete Carroll could come up with some good candidates.
Yeah, like the NBA has gone, where NHL too, where there's a president who really runs things over the GM. Sure, I'm down with Carroll. I'm down with Vrabel. I'm good with a lot of guys, but we'll see. Right now, first things first, I want to see what, if anything, Ulbrich can do the rest of the way, because he's been put in a tough spot, and I'm not expecting great things, but Thursday, I'll have my eye closely on it.
Salesman with a super chat. It's about hiring the right GM/Prez who will give autonomy to hire a bright offensive first head coach who could design a program, not just slogans or hype. Well, yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, you find your next Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. Easier said than done.
Easier said than done is right. Yeah, it's about scheme, and it's about not just accountability, but the umbrella that is accountability. That is having players understand what the right mode of business is. And under Salah, that it seemed to be that way a lot of times. It's just that the results on the field never portrayed that. So it was just a mirage. That's basically what we have to say. It was a mirage.
Taps Any Button says an offensive coordinator should be our next coach. I agree. In a perfect world, you hire an offensive-minded head coach, or you hire Ben Johnson, for example. Like, if you're going to hire the first-time coach, it better not be a defensive guy. I can't stomach it again. You need to hire an offensive-minded head coach.
Isn't it insane the history with the Jets and no offensive head coaches? It's insane, really. Gase is the only one since Bruce Coslett, I think. There was no one else. Bruce Coslett in the early 90s, and then Gase. Everything else has been defense.
It's just the Gase hire is one of the worst hires of all time when you consider not only how bad he was, but just the fact that they had a young, promising quarterback coming off a strong ending to his rookie year in Darnold. And then they gave him Adam Gase to try and take that next step in development. Insane.
I think, and that identifies a problem. When you hire the wrong guys, you have an organization that hires the wrong people. I think they bend one way, too extreme in one way. Like the idea around Gase from the Jets' perspective is it's all about Darnold. It's all about Darnold. Got to develop it. It's all about Darnold. Everything came crashing down with McCagnon and Bowles. McCagnon got off to a hot start, 10-6, aggressive rebuild. It was fool's gold. A lot of people knew it at the time. Some didn't. But the extreme thought, it's all about Darnold, it's offense, led to Gase. We just be balanced. Be balanced in your approach. Have old school principles in terms of accountability with a mind for the new age modern NFL in terms of scheme. And I think those two things is what I'd be looking out for.
I was dead wrong about how I thought this poll was going to go. Right now, with 214 votes cast so far. Should the Jets rehire Rex Ryan? Yes, 55%. No, 45%.
Social media, the loud minority is on social media, Jake. Like,
is this social media though? YouTube? Like we're considering?
Yeah.
This,
Okay. Oh yeah. It's because I think when I say social media, I kind of mean just the platforms, anything on the internet where fans take the initiative to provide input, to listen, not just to listen, to provide input, to engage. And that loud minority is going to speak. So it's very tricky when you're in this business to not view the entire social media fandom as the entire group, because I think that's another thing that gets the organization into trouble. Like the Jets, when they were changing uniforms, they thought the fans were overwhelmingly in favor of it because they listened to social media when that wasn't the case.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe more people. I don't even know if it's just social media, though. If that many people feel this way about Rex, I mean, look, it's still a short sample size, but.
I doubt
I'm telling you what, I am not
possible.
as anti it as I once was after hearing him every week on the 2 weeklies he does on the station I do work for.
Yeah.
And just like, I think this team right now is down so bad. They need that injection of energy and a guy who wants to be there. It would come down to what we said, who his staff is and who the GM he's working with. Because that's it. He hasn't coached in 8 years. So I need to know, like, he can't go and bring Brian Schottenheimer as his OC again and run it back. Like, that can't happen. Like, so.
Yeah, listen, I admit there's part of me that could be convinced somewhat, but I just no. It's a defiant no right now for me because I just think he was in the perfect situation. It's like Derek Jeter. Yeah, he's an all-time great, but got to be honest and be objective. He was put in a great position, and I love Jeter. He was my favorite Yankee growing up. But at the same, two things can be true at once. He was a great all-time Yankee. He's a Hall of Famer, great player, also put in a really great situation. I think that's Rex too.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're tuned in live. Keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Super chat here from Taps Any Button. Clean the team of old players and start over. I mean, the team will look radically different next year, but I disagree with the start over nonsense. Like, you still got some really good players on this team. Get better coaching and continue to build out the rest of the roster and hope you can be better.
Yeah, yeah. Like again, I'll go back to it can't get worse. Why not, Rex? It can't get worse. That was the most common reply to something I put out on Twitter. Why can't? Why not, Rex? It can't get worse. It could get a million times worse. There's talent on this roster. If a ball bounces the right way or Zerline makes kicks, they're right in it. They're right there, and they're still trying to come together as a team because you can't force chemistry. So compounding, they got to be very careful not to compound this into more ugliness. And I think there's a long way to drop from here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to another super chat from Kyle Clifton. I love Rex, but also no Rex. I think that's how, if you're a Jet fan and you don't want Rex, I mean, it doesn't make you less of a Jet fan, right? Like,
dude, I love Rex.
Yeah, we all love Rex, right? Rex Ryan it gave us incredible happiness. I haven't experienced since. So, yeah, I love
Absolutely.
Rex.
Absolutely. Rex, there's so many aspects of Rex that I love. It's just he'd be, I don't know. He'd just be the wrong person in the wrong city. Like, not city, New York, but the wrong person in the wrong scene. It's just a different game.
Wrong verb. Belichick. Stick it to Kraft and Leah's the glory. No chance. I want Rex over Belichick. By the way, Rex Ryan's career winning percentage is higher than Belichick's winning percentage when Tom Brady's not his quarterback. So no thank you on Belichick.
Yeah,
Most overrated coach of all time is Belichick. Not saying he's not an all-time great, but the way he's revered and talked about, like, he could do no wrong, and we just conveniently leave out all the failure he had post-Brady and before Brady is hilarious to me.
Yes, it's a perfect situation of what I'm talking about with circumstance. He was granted the gift of a lifetime with Brady. I respect the hell out of Belichick and his defensive mind because he truly is a hell of a coach. But yeah, no, he's extremely overrated in terms of the annals of history.
Let's see. NYC says, how would you feel if Woody pulled a Dolan and hired a known football sports agent to run the team as GM? I mean, I don't know if Drew Rosenhaus, for example, would be a good GM of the Jets. It's worked with Leon Rose, so I can't say it never works.
It's a little different NBA, NFL, because NBA is all about the player. Yeah, there's chemistry stuff there. You got to play as a team. Coaching matters. Look at Thibodeau, and that's another thing. I can't. Knicks fans bashing Thibodeau, I can't take it. That's my number one problem that I have right now in this media game. Thibodeau's a hell of a coach. By the way,
Thibodeau has a lot of say on personnel. He helps Leon Rose with that. Leon Rose has the relationships around the league.
Correct.
And Thibodeau is essentially the assistant GM and the head coach. So that's a big part of it.
Correct. It's like, Idzik was a financial guy. Rose, financial guy. Rose has done a great job. I'm not trying to take away from Rose, but it's interesting. Has any team ever tried with a agent type in that manner? I don't think so, right? In the NFL?
Yeah. Do we want the Jets to be the team that tries something new for the first time?
Hell no. And it's a very different sport. The NBA is run by superstars. The NFL is run by organizations/owners.
New Jersey super trucker. Hire Tom Brady as head coach. Huh.
He'd probably be the worst coach in the history of football, Tom Brady.
Three Siblings Jay says, I'm open to Cliff Kingsbury. Not a terrible idea if you're going to talk about a guy with experience, right? Quarterback guru. It wasn't awful in Arizona the whole time. Ultimately, it didn't work, but maybe he's better second time around, and he's an offensive guy. So not the worst idea if you want someone with experience. I don't hate it. He's done a great job with Jaden Daniels. And look, is he ready to be a head coach again? Dan Quinn got another shot, and look at the success he's having with Kingsbury.
Hey, listen, Dan Quinn got to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
I mean, Dan Quinn doesn't get a fair shake in a lot of regards. And look what happens. Did anyone think Washington would be ready this year? No shot. I mean, it's kind of similar to no one thought the Jets would be ready in 2022, yet there they were, 5-2, 7-4, but before it all came crashing down. Things change quickly if you get the right guy. And Dan Quinn is a hell of a coach. I know he never won that big one, and there were certain things that people will hang on him, but he's a hell of a coach, period.
This comment is just silly here. I want to address it from Sabo. Rex started to get Hollywood towards the end of his era. The whole foot fetish BS was a bit too much. He lost focus in the team. The foot fetish thing happened in 2010. They went to the AFC title game that year. Shut up. You don't remember the Rex years at all.
I don't care. I don't care about the foot fetish thing or getting Hollywood. Listen, he's a big personality that comes with a Rex.
Rex Ryan led a Jets team with Mark Sanchez into New England and upset a 14-2 Patriots team. All right, I don't want to hear it. All right, the idea that Rex Ryan wasn't a good coach, nonsense. Once the roster around him got worse, obviously it wasn't the same, and he contributed to that because he had a lot of say in personnel, which is why I'd want to know if they actually were serious about this idea. Who's the GM? And that guy needs to obviously have final say on personnel, and Rex has got to be on board with that. But like the idea that Rex wasn't a good coach or he lost focus and he lost the test, that's not what happened here. They brought in Izek, who tried to basically tank, and Rex still was able to go 8-8 in 2013 before it all fell apart in 2014. Give me a break.
Yeah, I would never rag on Rex for what he did in 2009, 2010, even 2011 to a certain degree, even though 2011 he underachieved with that
They were
roster.
8-5 and then lost the last three. They completely collapsed. And remember, Mike Tannenbaum's genius idea was let's replace Jericho Cotchery with Derek Mason. Let's replace Braylon Edwards with Plaxico Burress.
Yeah. I mean, how much was Rex in on that though? Like they were really together, those two. And that's the thing that I have a hard time with. When people say, "Oh, Rex wasn't the GM, Idzik was." Tannenbaum made those decisions, not Rex. I mean, you got to be fair here. Like Rex did a great job coaching 2009, 2010. But did he underachieve at 9-7 with that personnel in 2009? Did he underachieve at 8-8 in 2011?
Well, that year they did, but 2009, Sanchez was brutal as a rookie until.
Listen, I'm not trying to complain about 2009, but that's got to be considered, and it's never once considered that thought that they didn't have the quarterback, no question about it, but the roster was just loaded everywhere, and I don't know, it's sticky, it's a tricky situation. I don't know. I'm trying to flesh it out in real time, to be honest.
It's the fact that we're even entertaining this and we're going into week 9 of the NFL season.
Yes.
What the expectations were for this team. It's just, it's a nightmare. It really is.
It really is.
2015, 2024 Jets, some great players on both. It is belief, individualism, arch back to Salah, overhyped from preseason. Why did 2015 work better? Well, 2015, the Jets weren't hyped, right? They were supposed to start Geno Smith.
Yes.
He got punched out in the preseason. So Fitzpatrick ends up being the starter. They were 5-5 at one point and then got hot against some bad teams.
It was a cupcake schedule.
Yeah, they had the great win against New England, which was the best win during that stretch. And then Rex Ryan with the Bills knocked them out of the playoffs, or their chance to go to the playoffs, the last game of the season. This team's better than that 2015 team, but 2015 actually was better coached. 2015 actually found a way to win games that they were supposed to win. And the Jets have failed to do that despite being favorites in a lot of these games they've lost during this 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, when you combine Rex and Bowles, it's quite interesting that they had the same type of defensive vision, defensive look for a decade, basically. It's quite interesting. It's like a conservative feel, vision, mindset. It was too long to go to one extreme. And I think trying to break out of that with Gase was just too extreme the other way. So my one plea to the Jets organization is be balanced, be rational. Don't do anything desperate to compound the current situation now, because yes, it can get a lot worse if you're not careful.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your super chats, and then we'll say goodbye to Robby. Wealth and Eminence says, even in the bad seasons with Rex, we were much better than we have been. Rex Ryan in 2013 went 8-8 with a rookie Geno in no time. I think that was Rex's best coaching job. I bring up 2013 a lot.
Yeah, 2013 was solid, but Geno, I mean, Geno's turned out he did some good things, Geno, that year. So kudos to Rex for that. But come on, I mean, you can't. There were so many things done that were for the here and now that ruined the future, and I can't rely on a guy that has to be in the most perfect situation. Callahan was a genius offensively for that line. Schottenheimer, whether you love him or hate him, did some good things, but that staff was a studly. They were full of all-stars, and so was the roster. So, yeah, Rex, I think, did pretty solid job in 2013 for sure.
If they were to actually hire Rex, I would need him to remove the lap band. We need Fat Rex.
Yeah, it's the old Craig Cart. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. The bluster carries a little bit further with the old Fat Rex coming in. Here comes the Jets, babe.
I need my football coach to be fat if it's Rex Ryan, without a
True.
doubt.
Yeah,
And then
Giants fans are going through it right now at Daboll.
it's true. The other thing is too, Obrake 0-3 because he hasn't worn his hat backwards since he become a head coach. That's why.
Has he not? I haven't been really paying attention or keen in on that.
He's
It's
like,
all
I'm a head coach now. I got to look more professional. Nonsense, man. Do what got you here, man.
Yeah, go back to backward, Jeff. Go Griffey Jr.
Insane. All right. You got time for a couple calls, Robby?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll go a little longer today. Gusbuster hotline's open. Tristan's first up. Hey, Tristan.
Hey, what's up, Robby? It's my first time actually getting on the call with a guest, so that's pretty awesome.
What's up? What's up, Tristan?
Man, I personally, this feels like a hell loop over and over again. They get us with the slow, like I said the other day, they get us with the slow-mo clips all off season, and then we get all hype, and then, you know, my heart rate's at like 185 before week 1, and then it just slowly goes down. And then, like you said, we're gonna win this weekend, on Thursday, and they're gonna somehow have us back in this, and we're gonna be teeter-tottering like week 13, week 14. Are we somehow able to make the playoffs? If this team tanks and we are on the rise, like, it's just gonna happen. It's just gonna be another hell loop. But I agree with you. Does Rex not have the ego to be a defensive coordinator on this team? Can his ego step down, be a defensive coordinator, assistant head coach on this team with an offensive-minded head coach? Because I want to put up points, man. Like you said, we've been a defensive team like for a decade in a row, and way back since I became a fan in 2000, we've been defensive teams. I want to blow people out. I want to put up 45 points and win by 30. Like, that's I want to see that. And, you know, I can't even enjoy Saturdays because, you know, my college team is Miami. And because at 12:01, I know that I'm a Jets fan again. Like, it's crazy. So that's where I'm at with it. I just, you know, I want an offensive-minded head coach. But I do want a defensive coordinator that wants to go out and punch people in the mouth. My ideal, my team, my North Star team of that is Sean P. and Greg Williams. So take that for what you will. It was awesome to look at that team. I had a lot of friends that moved up to Atlanta from Katrina, so like I saw what it was like to be a New Orleans fan at that time. So that's all I got for you guys, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that is a great question, man. Can Rex accept that as DC? I don't know. The first thing, and this is unfair to Rex, but the first thing that pops into my mind is Buddy Ryan punching Gilbride with Houston in the early 90s on the sideline. I don't think Rex would go that far, but I find it hard to believe because at this point he would have been a DC.
He interviewed for a couple of jobs. He's very selective about what he wanted. He's not going to be the Jet DC. There's no way.
But it's interesting to think about if he would accept that role. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember what jobs he interviewed for? I can't remember which teams they were.
Dallas DC, Broncos DC.
How long ago was it?
Last 2 hiring cycles, one each time.
Okay. So they've been fresh. Yeah, I don't know. And I feel Tristan on the 12:01. I'm a Jets fan again. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, Jake. There's very little to say at this point.
The pain never ends. It just continues.
It is very little. Like, the stuff that you see, Tristan alluded to it, the stuff that you see on social media. Listen, I love the documentary stuff they do with the Jets, but did you see that with Belichick and the Pats? Could you see Parcells allowing it to go that far? I understand they're completely different divisions, but there's a world in which head coaches, good head coaches, who are curmudgeonly and just ornery and beside themselves, there's a world where they don't want to see that go too far, where it's all play and all joke, running out to the practice and joking around, and it's not nothing. It matters. So, the guy who comes in who doesn't want to deal with that stuff, does Woody allow it? Does Woody allow the next guy to have control and shut some of that down? Not completely, but to a point where he wants things to be all business during practice. that's the other aspect to this that really goes through my head at times.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Kevin is up next. Hello, Kev.
Chef of the future.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
What's up?
Jake, thank you for having me on your platform, man. Much appreciated. I know, it's been tough and whatnot, but, I just want to make sure that everybody, please, man, like, subscribe. It's important. Jake's been doing his thing. Great
My
guest.
man. Trying to
Great
get the
people.
40K, Chef Kevin, before the Jets lose Thursday. Then everyone
Yeah.
checks out.
Hey, man, people, hey, ratings go up too when we get these losses, man. So
They do, but this is like one of those last losses where like there was still some hope, like maybe fake hope, but like, oh, they win, then they could play Thursday. If they win that, like 6-5 with the bye. Now it's like they're 2-6. They lose Thursday at 2-7.
See you in February.
That's it. So a lot of you, I won't be talking to you till August. So subscribe before you're gone. All right, that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, it's Nick's X Factor time. I'll say that.
No, it's crazy, man. This is the first time I've laughed in the last couple days. So, I appreciate y'all. Before you let me go, Jake, I just wanted to talk about my tickets at the end. But first off, I just wanted to see Robby, Jake, if you guys really know anything about these like kickoff tryouts or kicking tryouts that are going on. I've been telling BG on his show with Faria, I've been asking him for weeks about like what's going on with the kicking situation. And now we're up to like an open trial for anybody. Like, what's going on with this?
Are you trying out later?
I mean, I can miss just like Greg, man.
Yeah, this is true. We have JetX has Brandon Pokras going today. So we'll stay tuned to JetX. He'll get something out on it today, I'm sure, later this afternoon.
It's a joke. I mean, the idea that they didn't immediately cut him yesterday is pathetic. I mean, he should not be the kicker Thursday. He should have been the kicker on Sunday. I would have cut him, and I said this on the air, so there's not revisionist history. He would have been gone after the Bills game. When you lose it as a kicker in the NFL, you lose it. That's it. Like,
the fact that the fact that they had Cyber on the roster for 2 years too is it's mind-boggling that they did the right thing by having a guy and they got rid of him, and now Zerline just goes to the toilet.
And this dates back to the summer too. He was not as good in the preseason as Seibert. He also missed an easy kick in the win over New England. We forget about it because they killed him, but that was a missed kick right before halftime of that game.
Yeah,
he's been bad all throughout the year, and look, he's not obviously he's not their only problem. But I hate when people are like, "Oh, if you're letting games come down to the kicker, you're not that good." That's nonsense, man. That's nonsense. Most NFL games are within one score, no matter who you are. So, your kicking situation matters. And if you had replacement level kicking, we're not talking about 50 yarders he's missing. He's missing PATs. He's missing kicks under 40 yards. Like, if they just had a competent replacement level kicker, they have, if you don't want to say 3 wins, you don't want to say 2, even with 1 extra win right now, their season is not shot.
Yeah, and if they get that extra win or 2, their confidence could be completely different. Like, that ripple effect matters. And, Parcells used to have a saying, I think it was, if my kicker's not making 80% of his field goals, he's someone else's kicker. That number's jacked up. That was the old days, 80%. So that's a big thing. But other little things, you got to pay attention to the little things in terms of coaching, in terms of environment. People laughed at me for this, but I think it means something. When Jermaine Johnson changed his number from 50-something to 11, in order for that to happen, they had to change him from defensive line to linebacker on the roster officially. And I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, it's a trivial thing, but he's coming into his second year. He hasn't proven anything. Why are we doing this for guys when they haven't proven anything in the league yet? Like, why do we bend over backwards for guys like this? It's not the right environment, because if I'm going to let him do this, now I got to let this guy do this and this guy do it. Little things like that give you cues and hints in terms of who is the real deal and who isn't, I think.
Agreed. I mean, for the Super Bowl, I used to go to school in New England, so I literally turned off my phone after that loss that we had this past weekend. But like seeing the Patriots, Jake, I mean, you just said it, like, yo, kicking is everything. And the Patriots, at least 3 of their Super Bowls, it came down to kicking. It came down to a field goal with Vinatieri. You don't have that, you don't have your Super Bowl. So I mean, it's so important. The Denver game, Jake, I pulled a Ewan Beningo from last year with the Jets Giants. Like, yo, I was outside, I left, I was disgusted. I was outside watching it, and I'm like, I know he's gonna miss it. I know he's gonna miss it. Sure enough, he missed it. And then ever since then, I've been checked out, man.
Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault that he missed.
Blame it on. I don't care, man.
Good job, chef of the future. Damn it.
I've been getting today at work when I came in. this manager is like, hey man, I'm so sorry, this and that, yada yada. He's breaking my balls. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, you know, with the loss. In my head, I'm like, the Jets lost a couple days ago. I'm not talking about that. I'm like, the Yankees last night. I'm not talking about that. I'm like, the Knicks. He was like, no, I beat you in fantasy. I'm like, man, I don't give a damn about that, man. Yo, come on, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But you know, thank you guys for everything that you do. I just wanted to say that, I mean, the money that I'm losing this year on ticket sales is ridiculous. I did the group buy with Jake, which I'll be there for a Texas game. But then on my regular season tickets, I have two of them. They're $250 seats. I had them listed last week. It went down to 100. I can't even get rid of these. So if I can't sell them by kickoff, Jake, if you have any Asmaniacs out, you know, that are in the area that don't have tickets, I'll give them away, man. It's nothing. I got to support, man. Just, you know, it's tough, man. I'm taking a beating on this tickets all season, man. It's ridiculous.
Very nice of you, Chef Kevin. You know, right into the Discord, and you know, hopefully we can get someone that wants to go. Maybe take a young kid who's never been to a game before. I mean, the weather's supposed to be really nice, at least.
That's
right.
That's right.
You know, the team stinks, but you know, a young kid who's never been to a game will know. You know, they'll experience
it's Halloween. Come see a
They're
nightmare.
wearing their black uniforms too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready for the social media posts about that. The tone deaf organization that they are.
Yeah. And I know people roll their eyes at me in terms of the little details like Jermaine Johnson changing his position just to change his number, and you know, the social media stuff, not having the right business buttoned up at. But that stuff, I'm telling you, to the right coach, that stuff matters. And you know, I think as fans, we should try to pay attention to little things like that.
We're really talking about a new head coach and a new GM, and it's still October. Like, that's the craziest thing, man. Never would have thought that.
Yeah.
Kevin, all the love, man. Brutal. Robby, we went overtime with you today. I appreciate it, man. This was an important one that we needed to discuss. So there's nobody better than you.
That's it. Hey, I'm here for the funeral. Always here for the funerals, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Robby Sabo. JetsXFactor.com. Promo code Asman to get your JetX membership. 99 cents for the first month. If you want to support a real media outlet that objectively covers the Jets, go to JetsXFactor.com. Simple enough.
That's right. All right, Asmaniacs, hang in there. We'll talk again soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Sabo, weekly spot with Robby. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Let me get to a couple super chats here. I'll get to more of your calls. Who's Your Daddy says Indiana football is 9-0. Hire Kurt Cignetti. Does he want to go to the NFL? I mean, I feel like he's going to have his pick of the litter of any of these top college jobs. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. But I did see that he's doing a great job. Tyrone writes in with a super chat. Thank you, Tyrone. 6 made field goals, and we're talking different. We beat Houston, and I will be at Arizona game. We'll be 4-6. We'll have a chance. Don't give up. Other teams that come back from 2-6. The Jags stated in 2022. Go, Tyrone, your ability to still be positive is truly remarkable. I love it. I hope you're right. And I'm rooting for that to happen. It's just tough to picture right now. But I hope you were right. There is nothing I would love more than for the Jets to go from 2-6 to making the playoffs somehow. But it's tough to picture right now. It really is. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Bobby Midnight was on hold, and the second I didn't get to him because he left when he thought I wasn't taking any calls with Robby. And then when I did take some calls with Robby, he immediately came back. But Bobby, you lost your place in line, man. You can't just leave and come back. What do you think this is? Let's see. Luppy with a super chat here. We never found our identity. Who is this team? They're a bad football team right now. That's who they are. That's the identity. What do they do well right now? They don't have a very good defense. It's okay. They don't have a great special teams. In fact, it's poor when you consider how bad the kicking situation's been. They don't have a great offense. They have a couple good offensive players. Garrett, Priest, Savante. You know, the offensive line has been terrible the whole year. It's been okay. I think it should be Olu Fashanu time on Thursday, but, you know. What's their identity? They don't really have one because they're not good. I think a lot of it's coaching, though. I do. Forever Royal says the Jets are just the up north Cowboys. See, I disagree with this. The Cowboys have won 12 or more games in the regular season the last 3 years. Yes, they have not been to a championship game since the 90s with Aikman. I get it. And the Jets obviously have more recently than Dallas. But as far as recent success, the Jet team hasn't made the playoffs since 2010. Dallas at least is there all the time. Yeah, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. But at least, through September, through January, you're going to see wins. You're going to see competency. This year, I know Dallas is not what they were, right? They're a game under 500, but they were 3-4. The Jets were 3-4. We would feel like, okay, it's not great, but we have a season. Or Dallas is 3, because they had their bye. They're 3-4. I'll get the more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the Gusbuster Hotline, live from what appears to be New York City. This guy.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Jake, my brother.
Mr. Bonesy.
I really wanted to tell Robby my analogy and see what he thought, but you know what happens to me? I'm on the headset and then I get a customer and then I'm upstairs. The headset goes out of range and then it kicks me out of StreamYard. And then when I come back and I enter, I reset the line and it's like, there's nothing I can do unless I keep my phone on me, but I keep it on the charger so it doesn't get destroyed. But, Robby actually said what I was thinking. I know that Joe Douglas and Rex crossed paths, and in my opinion, Rex was a great X's and O's. He was light years ahead of Roger of Salah's scheme of how it's more just player driven. Everybody does their job. You don't change as much. Where Rex was not getting the best players on defense besides the secondary. Our leading sack guy was Calvin Pace. It was, and when those 8 and 8 years, I remember Rex just straggling. We had Antonio Allen, our safety at cornerback, and we were just depleted. And he still put out a great effort on defense. And if we were to ever want to, entertain my idea of Rodgers is going to be here one more year, you give Joe Douglas a year that could give Rex talent, and they link up Douglas will give you a chance with Rex. And because once Rodgers goes, and if it doesn't work, then we're firing everybody. Rex only has a year or two to try, and obviously Douglas would be gone too. But
so your plan is only 1 year of Rex with Joe Douglas? I don't
know. Only if it fails. Only if it failed. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to be a quick trigger and you give one last shot with Rodgers, because everybody doesn't want Rex, but Rex is built for New York. Being built for New York is important. He's got the swagger, and he doesn't get killed in media. He kills in media. So, that's important to have a trait in New York in just to survive longer than the normal. But
I'm not giving Joe Douglas an opportunity unless they start winning here. It's over, man. It's over for Joe Douglas.
But Jake,
he sunk the season again by neglecting the kicking spot. He made the same cardinal sin he committed last year. Committed the same cardinal sin he committed last year with the backup quarterback spot. You want to give him a pass for that because the rest of the roster we thought was good coming in? All right, fine. I was on board with letting him be the coach or the GM with Sal as the coach. This was the year. Make the playoffs or everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. They're not making the playoffs. Everyone's got to go.
You can't guarantee me that the next guy is going to be better than Joe Douglas because Joe Douglas
how good is Joe Douglas really?
Look, just give these 4 things that Joe Douglas did, right? The Jamal Adams trade, the Sam Darnold trade, the 2022 draft, and Aaron Rodgers. Those 4 things alone, besides missing on Zach Wilson and Mekhi Becton, he does things like, we get Elijah
and
Moore.
And the head coach.
You're right. We did miss on the head coach. That's probably the biggest thing that
he's going to hire another coach? No, thank you.
We've seen such worse than Joe Douglas, and I'm just afraid.
But yes, it's been worse than Joe Douglas, but that doesn't mean it can't get better than Joe Douglas. But you
can't guarantee me it's going to get better.
Right,
There's a good chance it gets worse.
But they're not winning with Joe Douglas. It hasn't worked. He's in his 6th year. They have not won. They have not sniffed the playoffs.
And it's because of Salah's coaching.
And because of him. He could have made the playoffs last year if he didn't sit on his fat ass and got a backup quarterback. He could have made the playoffs this year, potentially, if they had a real kicker. That's on him. That's not just Salah. And he hired Salah.
I'm just an adopted dog that's been beaten so bad. And once I got a family.
I get it. But you had to still try to hire a competent general manager. Douglas is not awful. He's certainly better than the two guys that preceded him. I agree. It is not all terrible, but the record is the record. We all agreed this was going to be the year it was supposed to turn, and they're 2-6, and he's a big reason why they're 2-6.
But when you have the knowledge to draft the defensive and rookie offensive of the year in the same year, you pair that with a good coach, and there's a chance Joe Douglas could be great if he had good coaching. Saleh, we hired the best coach we could at the time, though. Saleh was the best at the time. We all wanted Saleh, and we missed. Just like
we all
everybody
wanted Saleh
Zach,
fired
and we
too
missed.
after 5 games, and Woody listened to the fans, and and it ended up not working out. Like at some point, the record has to matter, Bones. I was with you going into this
Agreed.
year,
I know,
but at some point, you got to win. And look, if it was like they were losing for things I couldn't directly attribute to them, maybe I'd be more willing to hear you out. But dude, the reason why they're losing games is because of his kicker he refuses to move on from. I'm not allowing him to sink another season and then come back.
Kicker, you're right. If he doesn't cut that kicker this week, I will turn on him. If Greg Zuerlein, if Greg the Leg is kicking on Thursday, I'm with you guys.
Are you going on Thursday? Am I seeing you in person?
I am not going on Thursday, unfortunately. I've been saying to my wife since the New England game, that was the last game I went to. I've been saying, listen, if we win one game, all the fellas and Jake and the whole community is going to force me to go because we're going to have a little bit of hope. But we couldn't get one game. I needed one win since the last Thursday to get my wife on board because we got 2 parties from both kids. Then we're going trick-or-treat, and I got to take one kid and get a babysitter. It was impossible for me to go. But I was going to do it if the Jets could just give us a little bit of hope. But my wife's like, you're not going. The Jets suck. What are you wasting your time for? So unfortunately, I am not going, and Bobby's gonna hate me, but I don't know. If Greg is kicking Thursday, I will 100% turn on Joe Douglas.
How have you not turned on him now, Bonesy? He made the same mistake he did last year that I killed him for then. He allowed this to happen again.
From a talent evaluator's position, though.
He can't evaluate what his eyes are telling him in front of us. He can't. They don't have a kicker. We all know. Why is it that we all know Greg Zuerlein is shot besides the guy who put the team together? Come on, man.
I think it's more than Joe Douglas making that decision, though. I don't think it's just him.
Who's making that decision? He's the general manager of the team.
But the way that we've had our organization running, it's been too much of
they don't have a head coach. He's the guy making the decision.
No, but Robby just said it. We need more accountability and discipline. Jermaine Johnson changing his number. It's everyone's such a happy-go-lucky. Greg the Leg has. Did you hear Jeff Ulbrich? Greg the Leg has a good family. He's a good guy.
You can't explain. You can't explain this GM not getting a replacement level kicker because Jermaine Johnson changed his number. That has nothing to do with this. He's made the same mistake twice. How do you defend this man? And I like Joe Douglas. It hasn't all been bad, but I can't sit here and act like he's not responsible. He is. The biggest mistake he ever made was not getting a real backup last year. And this is not before Rodgers got hurt or after Rodgers got hurt. I said it in March after they got Rodgers. And then he runs it back with the same mistake by sitting on his ass and doing nothing.
Did you hear what Jeff Ulbrich said about Greg Zuerlein?
I did, yes. I thought it was ridiculous.
It's just bro, that's the problem.
But no. The problem is Jeff Ulbrich doesn't have control of personnel. So he's asked a question about Zuerlein. He had yet to be cut. So he's not going to shit on his player publicly, right? I don't think Greg Zuerlein's a bad guy. I don't think he's missing kicks on purpose. Unfortunately, it's a make or miss league at that position, and he's not hitting any kicks, and we've known this for weeks, and the GM is doing nothing. Nothing.
I got a customer. How you doing? What? All right, let me go.
You sure you don't want to stay online and talk to him about Greg Zuerlein and Joe Douglas?
You just slept from Penn Station, you said? Oh, man. Well, what's going on? How can I help you? Oh, I could get you something similar, but we don't make that exact one anymore.
660?
Yeah, well, that's the look, this is the tassel now. That is what you have on. You see how that has that full strap that goes across?
How much is that?
This one is $885.
And
If only Neil was here to help him.
Yeah.
You figure that one out. How come my son advertised for 660?
Bonesy, ask him if he can kick for the Jets in that boot.
That's the
680.
That's the style number. Look, see, okay, ready? Look, let me show you this one. You guys suck. 660. That's the style number of that tassel, but they're still 654. It's this calfskin leather. Shell cordon leather is horsehide, so it's just thicker and stronger. You see how you can see those little wrinkles in there? So yours is calfskin that you have on. They just don't make that model anymore.
Is this calfskin?
Yep.
Okay. So let's get an exact size.
All right, let me measure
Came from Allen Edmonds, and they blew it.
They blew it?
Yeah, they gave me a size 7. And I had 2 pairs of Allen Edmonds shoes. I bought 2 pairs of these.
Wow.
One in a 7.5 and one in an 8. So I said to the guy, I said, fit me 7. So
Well, let me measure you. I'm not going to
stretched
blow
it.
it like the Yankees
Didn't I
did and the Jets kicker. We might have a better kicker with you with your leg than the Jets right now. You see that?
I don't think so, because I can't kick with my left. I kick with my right.
But if you kick with your left, we'd have a better chance. All right. I will be right back. Let's try them on.
Well, I brought the shoe.
To see the exact size, right? Let's see. So that's a 7.5.
Yeah, but
So I'm going to bring both.
Look it. I want you to see the back of my shoe, all right? I'm particular here, all right? Because I don't want to come back, as you can see.
Wow, yeah, look at that heel slippage. All right.
But I have an 8 that I still feel comfortable in.
Is it the same shoe? It might be a
Yeah.
different. Really?
Same shoe. No, let's get that.
You got it. I'll be right back.
All right. Sorry to bother you.
No bother. I
Sounds
actually
like-
don't have water. I'm sorry. I'm killing you here.
This is great. I think you're going to be able to sell these.
Well, if Neil was here, he would have closed the deal, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil joins us now. Neil, any advice for Bonesy as he tries to close out this sale?
Blow this sale, Bonesy. I'm gonna smack your face and send you home back to Poughkeepsie. I didn't know you had Tom Dempsey come in the store.
Wait, when Jake told me to ask him about the kicker thing, I couldn't control it.
Tom Dempsey. Ask him if he knows who Tom Dempsey is.
Tom Dempsey, all right, noted. Let me.
Hey, Bonesy.
I'm
Lumpy
gonna have
says
to
you're
put
going
the phone
as
somewhere.
Lumpy says you're going as Joe Douglas for Halloween. By the way, is this true?
That's a fact.
Bonesy, you're selling a guy $1,000 pair of shoes. You can't even offer him a freaking water. What kind of store you running there? Where's Joe Bonesy? By the way?
Blowjob.
Jesus, family show.
Christ.
All right, guys. Now I got to put the phone down because I have to put the shoe on his foot, and I can't hold the phone while I do that. So you can have to
Stash us in
listen.
the corner somewhere. We'll be ready.
All right. Of course, I don't have the 8, so he's gonna start bitching. All right, here we go.
Both sizes. He doesn't have the 8.
So of course, I only have the 7.5. That's what we're gonna. Yep.
I can't believe I slept there.
You should have called me. Now we got all the inventory on the website. It might work though, because the shoes are running a little bigger.
I'm not going to do this again with an Alden shoe, okay?
Got you messed up and get the Well,
It's not going to happen. Okay?
that's
It's
7.5.
not gonna happen.
So that feels what, too tight?
No, what do you think?
I feel it feels roomy already, and that's a 7.5. So if you went 8, that would definitely be too big.
No, I know that. My thing is it a 7 or 7.5?
Did you get them here? Any chance? I might be able to look in
No, I
my
don't know.
system.
These are rules.
All right, so try this. Look, I have. We're gonna try this. Let me see. I might have a different color for you to feel, but I just want you to see this. This is called a tongue pad. They go
I
underneath.
know.
You ever do this?
I don't want that.
When you have no laces, though, sometimes it could change it. You know, you can't make the shoe tighter without laces. So if you use the tongue pad, it locks your heel in the back so you
I'm
don't
not
slip.
looking to force my feet into something.
Got it.
Yeah,
So you want it to be like
You know,
Perfect.
if I'm going to spend that kind of money.
You got it. All right.
I don't want to go through an Allen Edmonds situation.
Well, we're not
They
Allen
already
Edmonds. I
are,
would make it.
because you don't even have my size.
Listen, we'll never be Allen Edmonds. You can't even say that in the same sentence because I own the store, so I would never let you be upset like they did. I wouldn't let you leave with a frown.
How would you assess where we're at right now?
This guy sucks.
Let's
You
see.
have no sizes, man. You got nothing here.
Someone wrote in Joe Douglas
Selling
is coming
too
in to
much
buy a
shit.
new pair of shoes for future interviews.
That sounds fun. I'll give them to him for free. I don't know what the fuck to give this guy.
Boomtown, you solve the customer's issues, Bonesy is a customer for life.
All right, here we go.
John says this is more entertaining than the Jets playing. I agree.
So
These are my favorite shoes I've ever bought in my whole life. And I've got a lot of shoes. But this is, it's sunk in here. But whatever.
when you get them resold, do you go to the guy? Or you send them to all of them? Oh, okay. So you know what you're doing. You don't fuck around. I get it. All right, let me get rid of that.
Don't get rid of it.
Look, I've been here for 19 years. Those things are game changers to me because when you don't have laces, that locks your heel very well. See, that's a 7. And it's still big, right? I don't know what.
Let me tell you something. I thought my foot shrank. I swear to God.
Good.
I'm getting older, man. I'm 70.
Hey, you look good for 70.
So, do you have 6.5?
Well, I'll be right back. Give that a shot.
I started thinking like that.
Hopefully that's the only thing that shrank, right?
What a store. What a service.
I'm just putting on a show for you guys.
Alan says, how the hell has this dope been employed there for 19 years? Jay says, Bonesy next get to sell Jake Asman show sponsorships. I should hire you to my sales team, Bonesy.
No, Chiefs fans, the only guy working here. All right, let's try this. Hopefully it feels good.
Same shoe that I'm wearing.
Yeah. The 660. I actually had it, so.
Oh boy, moment of truth. Yeah, that's a little tight.
A little tight. Let me see where. The length's okay. Let me just grab you. I know you haven't ever worn the wide, but do you want to just try it? The 6.5 E? Because that's the D. You own the 7.5 D. That's what you have on your foot, right? We already tried this. Yeah, that's what that is. That's the BD. That's 6.5 BD. So let's try the 6.5 at CE, which is the next width up. You want to just feel it? All right, we're back, guys. This is getting real.
How small is this guy?
Oh, he's pretty short. He's shorter than Graves.
Jay Graves?
Jay Graves.
Oh,
He's shorter than Jay Graves.
Is he a leprechaun?
I'm gonna ask him because we need some luck.
Here we go, folks. Buckle up. Bonesy back at it.
All right. Now this is the moment of truth. We've tried every combo. We gotta hope this
Pretty much. We're getting down in there, that's for sure. Except going up, we're going down.
See, now you may be, if the foot shrunk at all, normally as you get older, it gets a little bit wider just from normal being on, your feet all day. So maybe the width helps you, because I'll be honest, they are not too short. And look at the width right there. You still have a little bit, and they're not pinching you. That might be your magic
let's
ticket.
just try the 7 on again.
One more time? Yeah.
Because I want you to see the width compared to, because you were just feeling this. So I just wanted to.
Hold on, wait. Did I take the 7 back? That is the 6.5. Yeah, that's the display pair. Yeah, see, I took the 7 back. Let me grab it.
You're getting a nice workout in today. Going up and down the stairs.
My big ass plays basketball, so you'd be surprised. My lungs are actually in pretty. Even all the extracurricular activities I do, my lungs are not bad.
Someone wants to know: is this guy a retired jockey?
No, he's a retired cop. He has a gun on his ankle.
Really?
Yep. All right. So here's the 7 back. Joe Bonesy, what's up, buddy? All right, that's my brother.
So
see now, you see how you have I call it like fat in the shoe. You get a little bit of extra leather. It's not bad. The width isn't bad here, but look at where your toe goes to. That's probably why you're slipping out the back. Like take a step. Just see how that feels when you.
Yeah, it looks snug in there. It looks snug. Let me try that one again.
It's similar. 6.5 E and C. That comes off too easy to me. 6.5 E and 7D are very similar in feel.
Like if I did this, yeah, this is better.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the one. That's the best you're gonna get without laces.
What do you think?
I think it's good. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, see, that's still fine. It's not too short.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the 7, to be honest.
Okay, so I want to walk out of here with a decision. Period.
Hey,
So what are we doing?
I think the 6.5 E is best for you.
Yeah.
We tried all the combos. I think. I wonder. You know what you should do too? Maybe before you wear them.
I'm thinking about sending these to Alden to
For a
get them.
refurb?
Yeah, refurbish.
Yeah, leather's still
They'll put
intact.
this,
They'll do it.
They'll put this new thing in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll reline the whole inside. They'll
Yeah, how much
refinish
is
it.
it?
It's 200. And you know what you do? You said you had. Do you still have the old pair at home?
Yeah, these. Yeah.
So you didn't know if it was a 7 or not, right? You should probably call me. I mean, look at the inside and tell me what it says. You see it? Look, let me show you.
Yeah, I know. Right here.
So you see what that says.
7.5.
It says that. Well, this is 7.5. But I wonder what your other pair was. That you said felt
8.
different. Oh, man, that's too big. And it fits good, right?
I'm wearing them.
Every resoling that you do
I am
tightens them as
flipping out a
well.
little bit in the
Yeah,
back, but I don't care because I like them so much.
Yeah.
This is a tough shoe, man. This is a great
Loafers
shoe.
are tough, you know.
No, it's a great shoe. The brand.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah,
Seriously.
classic, man. You know, we invented the loafer. That's our shoe.
Well, here's what I'm going to
The
do.
tassel loafer.
What's the return policy?
You got 14 days. Just try them at home on carpet, and that's it. If it's after 14, it'd be exchange only.
Selling some socks.
Well,
I got socks too if you need any.
you think I could have 3 weeks? Because I got to do travel.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 weeks. I'll put it on your file. I'll give you my card. Just No one will give you a hard time.
I don't think we're going to be changing these, is what I'm saying. Okay?
I get it.
Because I'm going to do one day.
Yep. And then
And I'm going to walk around.
Yeah.
Because I got big rugs all over the house. You know?
Keep them on the carpet. No problem.
Yeah. I'm not going to stuff them out. I did that with Alan Edmonds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I bought
it,
right? Just recently.
Yep.
And I went outside. And I said, there's no way I'm going to be walking in these shoes. No way. So I took them back and they said, we'll stretch them for 2 weeks. I said, all right. Never heard that, but that's okay. I came back, no change. So I called Alan Emmett. Instead of saying, eat the shoe, they said, we'll give you store credit. And we'll give you 20% off coupon on top of it.
They couldn't get it right.
But I gotta buy 2 pairs of shoes to get it right.
Well, we're gonna knock it out on the first. All right. Yep, don't worry. I will check. Yeah. Look, man, I just heard from my buddy the Jets are holding open kicking competition. I really think you got a shot.
Well, I'll definitely do better than Roger.
Yeah, they wash well too. They hold up real well. They're at 35. Here, take 2 and I'll give you 1. You got it. You got it.
All right. Wow. This is like a project for me, you know what I mean? Between shirts, suits. I haven't touched shoes in a long time, but I said, nah, I got to get a nice pair.
Well, you came to the right place. You've known about us. You've been wearing our shoes forever, so you know what's up.
Yeah, I know. Better than Alan Edmonds.
You know, I've been here for 19 years. When you're selling a good product and you're not lying to people, it feels good as a salesman. You know, there's no bullshit. It's just they're good quality shoes. If you have a problem, the company takes care of it. That's what's best about us.
Yeah.
Last time he made a sale was 19 years ago.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, that is a 6.5. That's the D though, not the E. But these are 30% off because they're show quartered in, and we're not going to have them for over a year. So.
Yeah, I never wore quarter ones. I always wear black. You know.
I'm with you.
And my suedes are different colors. All right. Now I gotta get to my office on 6th and 50th.
You're gonna walk again?
I'm not walking.
What's your first name?
I'm gonna give you my card in case there's a problem. We know how to reach each other.
Oh yeah, let me know. I'm gonna put on your file. You got the extra week if needed. Just let us know how they work out.
My cell phone's best right now because all my employees don't want to come into work. There's 17 of them, and they're all been remote since 20.
Damn.
But things are getting done. That's all that matters to me.
All right, let me box you up.
Yeah, nice bag. I gotta go back to the thing.
Let me double it. Make sure. So that's if you got to take the LIR, you could go right out of Grand Central if you have to.
No. I got my office is on 6th
Oh,
and 50th, right next door to Radio City.
Oh, nice.
I'm on the 6th floor.
How'd you hurt your foot?
You won't believe this.
Oh,
and I do hot yoga and everything. I work out 4 or 5 days a week. I have to about a month. I was in bed and I stretched before I got up.
Holy shit.
And I almost split it where they had to operate. He said, there's a thin line there of bone. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, this is already 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, I hope to a speedy recovery, and I hope the shoes help a little.
You know what I need is a good shoe shine back.
Oh, well, that's rough right now. You know, we
There's
still.
a guy on Lexington and 53rd. Korean, Asian.
Yep.
No, Mexican, or whatever. Man.
He does good.
Yeah, you know, the ones around me in Great Neck, oh, yeah, we'll spray them. Spray them. Put some shoe polish on them, you know what I mean?
The guy on 45th between Vanderbilt and Lex, Eddie's, they're old school. They still do it pretty good. The owner's a little crabby, but it's probably because they're slow. You know, who's needing shoe shine as much. Now they get people, they have the guy that goes to the office. He does everybody's shoes there. They give him a break. He comes. Yeah, see? So listen, like that. Yeah. So listen, I put it on your file. You're good to go. It's under your name. Everything is good. I'm Anthony. It's a pleasure. All right, buddy. Let me bring you this.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me know.
This mishmash going on.
Oh, you're good, buddy. Don't worry about it.
But, you know, I've been through hell.
You-
Me, shopping is, these days, it's rough. Tough to get me.
Well, a pleasure. Enjoy them and keep in touch. Let me know how they work out, all right? Feel better, too. I'll be here. You guys still here? Joe.
He got a sale, baby. He did it. Slow and steady, baby. Slow and steady. We got it done. Let's go. Adam Cavanaugh dropped a $50 super chat. Congrats, Bonesy. Thanks, Jake, for the entertainment. Let's go, Adam. Unreal. He said if you close the sale, this was like 15 minutes ago. He said if you closed, he would drop a $50 super chat, and he was a man of his word. Now, there is some concerns, though. A lot of people in the chat are speculating this guy is going to be returning the shoes after he goes to a wedding or whatever event he got the shoes for.
Well, for starters, once he wears them outside and scuffs up the bottoms, that's it. They're his. So he can't do that. I don't know if you guys heard, but I told him he has to try them on carpet. He's got 14 days. So, yeah, if he went somewhere and it was fully carpeted and there was no scuffs, I'll take it back if it looks good, you know. We could always clean him up, but he's got 14 days. Well, actually, he's got 21 days. He's got the extra week because he pushed me. But, you know, that was my third sale of the day, guys. It's only 12 o'clock, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now to react to what we just witnessed is a former shoe salesman himself. The great Neil joins us. Hello, Neil.
That's like my Italian customer when I was there that brought back the shoes a day later. This guy's going to wear them for 3 weeks. Then he's going to go. He went to 5 shoe stores in the last 5 weeks. We told you every shoe store he went to. He goes to Great Neck, gets another $1,000 shoe, returns that one to the other place. This guy's a professional shoe shopper. Maybe.
Probably spot on. But.
That's it. He's a professional shoe shopper. Now he's going to go.
I was waiting for you guys.
Now he's going to go buy a $2,000 suit and return that. And then he's going to a wedding. He's going to be the best looking guy at the wedding. And he's going to tell everybody what $1,000 shoes he wears. And he's a retired cop. Did his card go through? What card did he use? Did he use an Amex or did he use a Visa?
He used a Visa. He actually did use a Visa. I thought it was Amex. But I was waiting for you to give me more to say, Jake. If you were going to feed me stuff, I was going to fuck around.
I was thinking about it. I didn't want to do I like this is your line of work. So like I just kept posting all the comments in real time so you could watch it back. I was going to feed you lines, but I was like, I don't want to mess with your livelihood and like make you start laughing at this guy's face because I knew I could have got you so many times. I tried to be respectful, but that was amazing.
I thought you were going to be harder on me because, you know, everything you said, I would have like, you know, skewed it to my way. But
this was like an Impractical Jokers episode where like I could have fed you live.
No,
where's
for
Joe?
sure.
Where's Joe? Where's Joe?
He came in late today, so he walked in as I was still helping the guy. That's why when you guys heard, I was like, "Hey, look, it's Joe Bonesy," because you couldn't see him, but he walked in the door. But he's helping somebody now. Someone else just walked in. Let's see.
But Bones, a little critique. Please take 3 or 4 pairs of shoes next time instead of going up and down the stairs 60 times.
I
mean,
normally
really.
do. Listen, I normally do, but I wanted to like keep engaging with you guys, so I would come up, show my face, say hello.
I get it.
Normally, I'm big and I ain't going up 8 times. I'll just carry 5 pair down. I'm also holding the phone and then putting it next to us, letting it be live. So I'm fucking around a little bit here.
Let me tell you something. If that guy was my customer and he walked out without a sale, I'd hit him with a shoe on the way out the door. I'd just take it, wham, and then right in the back of the head. I say, now you got a headache to go with your broken foot, you bastard.
Wait, I thought he was only going to buy one shoe at one point. I was very concerned.
I know. I was waiting for him to say, you mind if I only take the right? I'll leave the left here. I'll come back in 2 weeks. I'll come get the left.
He was, he's people. I meet so many people a day. You get people and they start off aggressive, right? Once I hear them curse, now I'm allowed to curse. And then you become to the friend level. And then it's easy, then it's like, once you can like pal around with somebody and like you show that you respect them and you're not like trying to, be correct or make them feel like, it gets easy from there. Cause he came in a little strong, but it's, I'm used to dealing with guys like that all day. So that's why when I made the joke, I know Alan's like, how does this guy have a job? It's like, because man, if you can't become to the friend level quickly with somebody and start drawing. He said something. He said a speed trank, and I said, I hope that's not my other thing. This guy's be stupid.
Dude, I broke you when I said, "Is he gonna kick for the Jets?" That's why.
What you said?
I said to Bonesy's ear, I go, ask him if he's gonna kick for the Jets, and Bonesy just started laughing, and he had to try and like keep it together, and, like recover.
You did. He asked.
I wish you guys could have saw my face while I'm trying to talk, smile, laugh, listen. I'm like, Jesus. Oh, God. Well,
wow. Even Alan said Bonesy's moronic Joe Douglas takes was well worth it.
Alan's gonna freak out when I say this.
Give it to me, Neil. I need you. Neil, I've been thinking about
you. Talking about the goddamn coaches. We're gonna run the goddamn table. Enough of this bullshit. We're gonna win. I don't want to hear about coaches yet. Let's get 7 or 8 losses and let's put the dagger in us. Then we'll talk. But we're gonna win.
Let's go. I'm fine with that. I want them to win. I think
it starts Thursday. We're gonna get the 3 wins. Then we got the bye. We could talk 10 days. The pain is not over yet. God is not going to let us off the hook in October. We got to wait till December. We got to wait till we're about to open the presents. Then he's going to pull the rug out from under us, and we're going to be really miserable.
Warning, warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Allen alert. Hide the children.
First of all, Bonesy, that was comedy gold. After listening to you and Jake argue as you were defending the 33-game under 500 GM, watching that was just pure gold. Especially when you started cursing at him, it was beautiful. I loved it. And to Neil, I was going to credit you on the Dodgers in 5, but then you started opening your mouth, and then I realized you're an idiot. So I appreciate that.
Wait a minute. Jake, remember I was on the show. I said Dodgers in 5, so the Yankees will win. But here's the point. I forgot to say this. I'm very, very accurate in playoffs. Playoffs is really where I become very lucky.
You're the best, Neil.
Regular season, you could go the opposite of me and win every time. But when it comes to playoffs,
Jake, can you do me a favor? We need a Bonesy intervention when Joe Douglas gets fired. We have to. His takes yesterday on 3s and 4s and 7s might have been the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. It was hilarious. I've never seen a guy get defended more in my life for a guy who's 33 games under 500.
I'm broken, Alan.
Do you own Joe Douglas stock? Honestly.
Listen, look, you could account to this. It has been so bad before Joe Douglas.
You can't justify keeping him. You can't. Bonesy, you can't.
Dude, Alan, besides Darrell Revis, right, and maybe Quinnen Williams, name me one player before Joe Douglas that even stayed on the roster. Like now we have players like Sherwood, Quincy.
Stop.
What has the talent amounted to? How
Thank
many
you.
wins?
The true Bonesy there.
Look. When Joe Bones walked in the door, he said, "Man, I want to keep hearing Jake school your ass."
Oh my God. It was hard to
Listen,
listen
Joe
to.
Douglas, Bones. Joe Douglas lost me when he went bargain shopping in the free agent market, and he ended up with Tyron Smith for $6.5 million. Then he went around pounding his chest. He's a goddamn bargain hunter.
Everybody
wait a second, Neil.
Tyron Smith.
Hold
the
on
whole
a second.
NFL. Sorry.
I'm not defending Joe Douglas because I think he's got to go. The record's the record. The kicking situation, the same mistake as the Zach Wilson situation last year. Everyone knows my thoughts. But Neil, you were the one who wanted Tyron Smith.
If we don't get Tyrone Smith and shore up this goddamn offensive line, I'm done. This is bullshit. Everybody's praising Joe Douglas. I got to tell you, I'm starting to get pissed. This is the difference between a winner and a goddamn loser. We're a bunch of losers. I'm tired of it. Tyrone Smith's sitting there. What does Joe Douglas say? Well, draw the line. I will give you $12 million. Wait, you're not going to pay the guy? What are you waiting for? Jesus Christ, I'm pissed.
I miss that, Neil. I really do. I miss it.
Jake, hang on a second. My defense, that was after all the other good free agents were gone already.
Who?
Jake,
He was the best guy they could have gotten.
Like, this day at the free agency, he was the only guy left. We didn't
Who?
even we were going to get him.
Who did you want?
Neil?
Who else? He was the best
at
left tackle. He was a second-team All-Pro last year. It wasn't a bad move. It hasn't worked, but it all goes back to he missed on Becton, and that's why they were down this path. Like he's out of time. It hasn't worked. He tried to make moves to fix the team, and they're 2-6. It's over.
One thing I'll say: how many players, right, from Joe Douglas era will be future players on our team after he's gone? No, look, after Joe Douglas is gone, how many players will be future players for our team that were drafted on just day 3?
29 and 62, Bonesy.
I get
Bonesy,
it,
you
but
want
that's
to
the
root for the
coach.
Panthers?
He
You
hired
could.
the wrong guy. He hired the wrong guy. Look, and I'll also say, no matter how bad you want to dog me, Alan, who would I rather be a roommate with, you or Neil? If I'm with you, I'm going to be depressed, sad, crying, upset, angry, frustrated all the time. If I'm living with Neil, I'm going to be
You know
mad
what,
for one
Bonesy?
day,
You'd be
and then I'll
right.
be
That's
fucking
the
hyped.
difference. You'd be right.
I don't
But
care about
I am-
being right. I want to be happy.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
my God.
Forget about right or wrong. Listen, Alan, if all you do is bash the Jets for the last 17 years, you look like a genius.
You're going to be right all the time.
You suck. Right. It's not about being wrong. Listen, I
Hey,
want to
Neil.
know. God, what, Alan?
Neil, are they winning Thursday night?
Yes.
Bet your ass they're winning. Without a doubt.
Bet your ass they are.
Without a
I
doubt.
hope you're right. Look,
And
until
not
they're
only that,
actually eliminated,
Alan,
I'm rooting
not
for
only
wins.
are they going to win Thursday, they're going to run off 5 or 6 in a row.
Oh,
Then they're
my
gonna,
God.
Yes.
Wait a minute, I didn't finish. Then they're going to break our heart. They are not going to. The football gods are not going to let us off this easy. We could go because I'm going to heal by November. Okay, they're going to wait till Christmas, and then they're going to when with Dolphins when we need to win that game in December 8th, and I'm down in Miami. And I finally have hope, and I go and spend money on the tickets in Miami, and I get all excited. Then we're going to get our asses kicked by the Dolphins, and then we're going to have our 8th loss or 7th loss, and that's going to be the end of the season. It's not over yet, Alan.
I have a scenario.
No team could consistently lose the way we lose.
Oh, yeah, we could.
You guys
Trust me.
act like we suck. We listen to
Jake,
me.
are they winning
we had
Thursday night,
a
Jake?
750-0 record when everything happened the way it did, and we were the first team to lose. Then the
Jake,
week
are they
before,
winning
we
Thursday
did-
night?
I wouldn't pick them to win, but I'm also not going to sit here and be shocked if they were to win. I'm rooting for them to win. I'm not like I think at this point you're just rooting for losses at this point.
I think for the betterment of the franchise, I'd rather have them get blown out Thursday night, wake up the owner, and get rid of everybody. Honestly,
Yeah, but that's not going to happen, Alan. We don't suck.
I want the GM
Alan, why
gone
does
before the
Vegas have-
deadline. I really do.
That's not
I
happening.
look at Vegas. Vegas is never wrong all the time. Okay, they were wrong last week with us, but they got us as a 1.5 point. Are we 1.5 point favorites?
No, I think we're pick 'em, right?
No, it's 2 now. Jets are 2-point favorites in some spots.
There you go,
Because
Alan.
of Diggs' injury.
Alan,
Yeah, I
we're
think it's a
2 point
combo
favorites.
of short week,
we're
home
better.
team, injuries.
Listen to me. I would rather be as great. And listen, the Texans are going nowhere this year, okay? With CJ Stroud is taking a step back. They are going nowhere, Alan.
They're
The
6-2. I'd rather be them, Neil.
What?
Neil, I'd rather be the Texans are 6-2. I'd rather be
I
them
don't
than
care. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
neither
my
are the
God.
Jets. What does it matter?
I get it. I get
Jake,
it.
Jake,
Wait.
one
Here's
thing-
the point. Hang on. If we don't blow those 3 games, and let's just say we're 500 right now, 4-4.
You said if they did blow them.
Hang on, but here's the point, Alan. If we're a 4-4 team, and they're what? What are they right now? 5-2 or 6-2?
Houston is 6-2.
6-2.
We were 4-4, and they are 6-2 right now. I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah.
They'd be a 5-point favorite right now. That's the point.
I
We're better
agree. I agree in theory with some of that, right? But the Jets find ways to lose, Neil. That's the
Every
difference.
week.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that point. But
so they got to do
listen,
it. I don't think you're entirely wrong with hey, if they could win this game, there's a scenario where they could actually win the next 2 before the bye and be 5-6 and give you some hope and then let you down again.
They're definitely going to give us hope. They're not that bad, Alan. They're not.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I mean, look, I agree. We got a star-studded bunch of jerks that don't play as a team. But eventually, a win cures all. When they get one win and they forget about last week and everything, and they go into the 10-day bye, Rodgers are going to take them all into a darkness retreat. They're going to do a bunch of mushrooms and come out of
Neil,
That's
this is
what's gonna
the
happen.
worst. This is the worst coach team in the NFL. Do you agree with that?
They don't need at this point.
I actually do agree with that.
They are the worst coach team in the NFL.
Schematically on defense, it's a joke.
Right
when I watch,
They don't
but at
even
least
know the
Rodgers
calls.
from a stat standpoint, he's still top 10 from a statistical standpoint. He's still scoring 200,
Yeah, but
2
here's the
touchdowns
problem.
and 250 a
Here's
game
the
for the most
problem.
part.
I saw a play where they tried to do a screen pass to
I
Brees
saw it
Hall.
too.
He banged into the lineman. The linemen were all illegally downfield. They
Yeah, I
can't
saw
even do
it
a
too.
screen correctly. I'm wondering why they're not doing screens. And they don't even know how to do a screen. I don't understand.
I just want to clear up one
That's
thing,
the
Neil.
thing. Now,
I just want to clear up one thing.
Alan, how do you feel about Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, and Belichick as our coaching
Oh,
staff?
stop it.
How do you feel about that?
Neil.
Absolutely.
Neil.
No.
No good?
No. Why do you?
Here's my scenario. I was going to bring this up.
Is Brady
okay?
our quarterback, Neil? Then okay, I'm in. Prime Tom Brady,
Who?
sign me up. If Prime
We
Tom
have
Brady,
we have
no,
Aaron
he's
Rodgers.
not that guy. He's 40. He's gonna be 42 at the end of next
So
year.
what? They
When
still
do
won with Brady when he was 40.
If we
Yeah, but
kept
Brady-
Rodgers healthy, he would be that guy, though.
Right, but
If
Brady-
Rodgers didn't get hurt,
Rodgers
he would be.
is a better athlete than Brady was
I-
at 40.
I agree, Neil, but he's also the Achilles obviously has taken away a lot of his athleticism, and now he's playing hurt. So even some of the athleticism he had the last time they won a game and he looked good, he's not that guy right now. It's going to be better next year. Come on.
You know
Neil,
what
this
really
is what- Neil, this is what I want.
about Rodgers? I will say this. You know, I know he's a warrior and all this bullshit, but since he got hit in the first 2 games, he's double pumping. He's looking at the line of scrimmage. He's acting like he's not courageous at all in the pocket, and he's not getting rid of the ball quick. He's doing a lot of stupid things, but that's the play calling also. They're waiting
Right.
too long for plays to develop.
He doesn't want to get hit. He actually is getting rid of the
Right.
ball quick. It's like second in the NFL on time to release.
Yeah.
That's why they don't throw downfield because he doesn't trust the line. He doesn't. The hits have clearly affected him from a psyche standpoint because now he can't move like he could in the past to extend plays. So now he's like, I can't get hit. He has shown toughness though. He didn't miss a play when he got crunched up in London, right? He wants to be out there. I just don't think his body lets him play how he wants to play at this point. So they got to change the offense and do things that he can do and feature a better running game.
And the other thing is the craziest thing about this past game, okay, the referees were on our side like I never saw before. They were calling PIs on every play. Why couldn't he just chuck it up like a Hail Mary 2 or 3 times downfield? He has enough time to do that. And we get
If
a
Garrett
PI.
catches that ball at the end of the game and we spike it, we would have a shot at a Hail Mary, or we would have had about 6 seconds to get another play in. But
We're not the Commanders. We're not that lucky.
We got 2 of the best contested catch guys in football on our team. Devontae Adams and Mike Williams. throw the freaking ball up in the air and let them get under it. It doesn't even matter, especially against
Jake. One thing I want to say is, everyone talks about me with my positivity. I choose to want to believe. It's not delusion. Well, maybe it is delusion.
No, Alan. It's called fandom, Alan. You don't know.
I just want to. I don't want to live with how you feel,
I
Alan.
love you,
I have kids. I can't be so all the time. I can't be so negative.
I'm not like that
and
all
mad.
the time. But when
every time we're hanging out,
when you praise the GM at 33 games under 500, it's ridiculous. You said, "Oh, he should come back. They should bring Rex." Are you kidding me? Come on, Bonesy.
Come
on, you can't be that stupid. You really can't.
Every time I hang out with you, Alan, right? You always bring in those girls. They were 2s and 3s, all of them.
Always.
And one
yeah,
time,
2s and 3s.
that one
I'll tell
time,
my wife
bro,
that. Yes,
Alan. That one time you brought that 7, I just can't forget about her, man. She's just so perfect to me. She's the best thing I've ever had. And I'm not letting her go. I'm not going back to 2s and 3s. I have no faith in you bringing me another 7. You've never brought me a 7.
Alan,
never.
You have no answer on who to bring in.
Always 2s and 3s, Alan.
I do.
There's no coach right now.
Can I give you?
Look, Gruden.
Can I give you my scenario?
I would like that.
Let him give it. Let him give a scenario.
How you feel about that one, GM?
Here is my scenario. You ready?
Give me a coach and GM. Let's hear it.
Can I talk? Here we go. The Lions win the Super Bowl in February. Ray Agnew, who used to work for the Jets organization, is ready to be a GM. Okay. They hire him. He's good friends with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson comes in with Tanner Engstrand, who was the passing coordinator. So you have a GM, you have a coach, you have an OC, and all you need to do is tell your 55-year-old quarterback it's time to go away, and you start from scratch. That's what I would do.
I don't want to start from scratch.
That is what I would do.
From scratch? Come on. Why? I'm going to go watch Aaron Rodgers?
Hold on.
Super Bowl with
Hold on, Alan. I don't hate it.
Goes to Miami. Wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers has got 1 or 2 years left. He's going to go to another team. Look, Brett Favre was washed too. And then he went to Minnesota, got to the championship game the year after he left us. What do you guys have, a short memory? Aaron Rodgers is not washed, dude. He's not.
He's not. Aaron Rodgers is not washed, Alan. You listen, Aaron Rodgers is playing on one leg. He can't move laterally. If you look at the Patriots game, he was doing his roll out and throw 50 yards down the field. Like Rodgers is definitely playing. Come on, Jake, right?
10 days off. Listen, with this mini bye this week, after this game, he's going to come back much fresher. And then when we have the regular bye week, he's going to come back looking like he did in week 2 or 3.
Is this after Danielle Hunter hits him or after Will Anderson hits him? Both guys can hit him this weekend. You know that.
Listen, look, at this point, if they got to go with
TJ Watt didn't hit him.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have never bet that, Alan. You would have never bet that.
And you put Fascino on the left tackle and let Tyron Williams take a snack in the back corner. I think we have a good shot of stopping both of those rushes.
Did you just call him Tyron Williams?
Tyron Smith.
Hey, Jake. If that was the scenario you were given and you were told they would come here if Aaron Rodgers would not be back, would you take it?
Yes, but the thing I was going to say is I don't think it's a bad idea to do exactly what you said with those personnel people and head coaching choice and have Rodgers here for next year because there's still
I don't think Rodgers, no.
Well, but why not? And then you draft a quarterback, and that guy could sit. I'm tired of drafting these guys. We throw them out there right away. Like Pennington was successful here. He was a franchise quarterback if he could stay healthy. He sat for 3 years. Have the guy sit behind Rodgers for a year and then be the quarterback.
Agreed. We can't go into a rookie starting again. We need to keep it old school where the quarterback.
And what's the matter, Alan? What's the matter with the quarterback we have there with Jordan Travis? Is he going to be?
Jordan Travis is damaged goods. You don't even know what you have with him.
I don't know if he's damaged goods. He's a day 3.
We don't know.
You don't know what he is.
So we'll see him in the preseason. He'll compete next year.
We'll
see what he is.
Ricky New York loves him. He's a Florida.
Good. He come on. He roots for a 1-7 team. Like I give a shit what Ricky New York says. Come on.
Alan, you're such a dick.
In college or not, Alan? Was he good?
What?
Was he any good in college? This guy.
He was okay, but do I think he's a savior? No, can't miss prospect. No. Again, if the Jets finish top 5, do I think they're going to draft the Cam Ward? Yes.
Yes, they should, and they should if they're finishing.
And they
top
would.
5.
Yes. So Jordan Travis will be in the back burner.
I still can't see Aaron Rodgers quitting on the season unless he gets
No,
injured.
he's not. He's coming back next year.
Or mathematically eliminated. He was going to come back last year from Achilles, play on one foot, and we had a losing record, but we were still mathematically alive. So
if I was Aaron Rodgers, what I would do is I would go on McAfee today and I would say, you know what? I'm tired of playing for this loser organization.
Goodbye, Alan. I'm not dealing with this. I can't. Stop it, Alan. Good God, man.
Who does he like, anyways?
Nothing. He just wants to be miserable. That's my big thing.
He can commit to a team that we could bust his balls on when they lose.
He always, every time I hang out with Alan, man, every time he say, listen, Bonesy, I got this cute girl. She's a 2. She's a 2. I hang out with her. She's a 3. Another time, another 2. And finally, he brought that 1-7, man. I just can't get out of my mind, bro. I love her. And, you know, what gives me the faith in Alan that the next time we hang out, every time I've ever hung out with him, it's 2s and 3s. And he gives me this 7. And you guys are going to say she's not a 7, but she is a 7.
Talking about Douglas being a 7?
Yes.
Talking about Douglas. You know,
as bad as Douglas has been, and I agree, he's screwed us big time with the kicker, the backup quarterback. But when you look around the league from a roster talent evaluating standpoint, from the trades he's made,
but also Bonesy, real quick,
yeah,
he's had more time than a lot of these GMs ever get.
Agreed.
Like he's in his 6th year. I would hope by now their team would be good enough to win. Rebuilds don't take 6 seasons like what he's been given.
I agree.
Here. And if you want to say it's only 5 because he inherited the team in June of 2019 and it wasn't his team, fine. That's still 5 years of getting an opportunity to put together the team that's nowhere close as of now. Maybe they'll go on a run like Neil says, and that'd be awesome, to winning. So they have to get a new GM and a new coach. There is talent on this team. I don't think you blow the whole thing up, but you bring in a new voice that can lead the football operation because it hasn't worked. It's been too long.
The only thing that scares me is Salah.
Can we even see what Malachi Corley is like? Can we at least see him on the field?
Dude,
maybe?
you can't see what he's like, Neil, because he doesn't know the playbook, and Rodgers is too demanding. He can't even link up with Mike Williams, who's a veteran. He can't have Malachi Corley running routes out there. He's going to be huffing and puffing.
I don't want him to run routes.
He's not ready.
I want him to do.
Yo, Gibson's fine for that. We don't run those plays, though.
Maybe out of the backfield. Use him like a Debo Samuel. You got to have at least 4 plays where this kid can learn 4 goddamn plays. And maybe he breaks one and goes 40, 50 yards downfield because he's a good guy and he can break tackles. I mean,
they don't run those plays, though, Neil. Gibson could run those plays. Gibson finally had a good game on Sunday. He had a touchdown. He had good punt returns. He had put us in great field position. And we went 3 and out at the 50-yard line. Like, you know, Gibson isn't a slouch. So it's like at least he's on the same page with Rodgers and knows the playbook. So I don't know. I get the whole the Joe Douglas thing. It's been too long. His record sucks. But I blame a lot on the coaching and how him and Salah were such good friends and buddies and linked. He wasn't going to fire his buddy and I guess that's what I should blame him for, because he couldn't fire Salah.
He's not the worst GM, Bonesy, but it's enough. It's time. Someone else could do a better job if you hire the right person.
He's a great talent evaluator. I think he's a good scout. He's a good talent evaluator, but he's a shitty.
Mark my words, Neil. Neil, mark my words. If we fire Joe Douglas, we get the next guy in, right? And he sucks. I'm going to turn into Allen. Just letting you guys all know. I will be the next Allen if it happens and we fire Joe Douglas and the next guy comes in and it's back to all our first round, second round, 3 days. The draft doesn't even matter. You can't even look at the draft because we can't draft. I'm going to be losing my mind.
What if they hire a GM that's fat and bald? Will you be on board? Is that your type?
Maybe. I do like the fat. If you can tell, I'm fat and bald. So it does go with my look. I love guys.
Then you like Rex Ryan. We're going to get Rex Ryan to give up his lap band. Him and I got the same lap band, doctor, by the way. We did it together. I was 340 pounds. I was bigger than Rex.
Wow. Really, Neil? You look so good,
I was
man.
336 was my weight.
God damn, you look good now, bro.
I was
taking his shirt off, humping.
I took my shirt off at 3:30. I made Rob look like a small guy when I was big. I would take Rob and push him down the street. That's how big I was.
Also, Bonesy, you're not fat.
No, you're a big bone.
I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy.
You're tall. You're a little thicker. But you're not fat. Don't call yourself fat.
And Jake, I got a bone to pick with Beningo. I got to tell you something. Let me just say this to you. I got a little bone to pick.
Real quick, did you enjoy watching a Jet game with him though?
Horrible. It was like, hey, the guy is so negative. I gotta tell you.
That's what I
couldn't
missed.
stand near him. Every play, sitting there like this. I mean, he couldn't move. He was just, it sounded like he was preparing to crush the Jets on the show on The Fan and You. I mean, it's the same thing we heard over. There's no positive that comes out of him. He's just totally.
What is there to be positive about? They just lost to the Patriots. They're 2-6.
He would be upset if we won the Super Bowl, honestly.
He would not be. Joe wants to
I
believe.
know.
He's been beaten down, man.
But listen, I go to the T squared, right? Jake conveniently sets me up in the VIP table, and like a gentleman, I pull out my credit card because I'm impressed to be with Joe B. I say, all right, let's go. Here's my credit card. Let's get a big tower. Rob's drinking vodkas, and Beningo and his friend and his son are eating their faces off. I didn't even have a chance to have one chicken nugget. Everything was gone by the time because I'm too aggravated to eat anyway. So I get the bill. It's like $400. I throw my card. I paid a $400 bill. Could Joe Beningo say, Neil, thank you? How about a thank you? How about thank you for feeding me and my son, or even his friend. What's his friend's name?
Kenny Scarvacci.
Kenny. How about Kenny and his son say, hey, thanks a lot? Not even a thank you. But anyway, that I'm supposed to be impressed because I sat with him the whole time.
Wow, you're turning on Joe B. Wow,
dude, Joe B. I'm gonna send Bobby on his show and have him go shit on a stick, Bobby. Make Beningo shit on a stick for a while.
Go play with your trains.
I think they were just so disgusted with how the game ended.
I know. You can't think about. We're not thinking about that. I really didn't even care. I mean, at the end of the day,
I was disgusted.
It was a disgusting game to watch. It was just disgusting. I mean, I just didn't. Even if we won that game, it wouldn't have felt good.
No, but
it would have felt good.
No, of course not. But if they won that game, we would have real hope going into this game 2 days from now. There'd be a path to actually turning the year around with the schedule coming up into the bye week to get healthy. But forget that. They got to win the next 3, and maybe we'll talk.
But one point was perfect yesterday. I forget who made. Oh, Nate, the goal line stand, right? They're at the 1 yard line, okay? And 4 linebackers are 4 yards back in the end zone. And our defensive line had the backup package in. It wasn't even Quentin Williams, Jake. I don't know if you want to check that. I don't think in the last play of the game, Quentin Williams or 54
he was hurt,
on the line of scrimmage. What? What's that?
Quentin was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. His feelings.
He came back in, but he was hurting though. He was hurting. He got it.
You know what though, Bones? Put everybody.
We can't stop the run though, Neil. Ever. When in the Saleh regime did we stop a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1? I swear to God, I can't remember it. We can't get 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 conversions. Even with Rodgers, it's like, oh, you should be scared of our play action. No, I still don't get why that happens. That we can't stop.
Yeah, but how about
joke.
I know it's going to be a runoff tackle to Monday Stevenson. I know it's going to be that play. There's no way they're doing anything else. How about the linebackers like CJ jumps over the center and grabs him behind and pile in
anything?
I mean, they had to make a stop there. At least that would.
His elbow was down too. Jake, did you see
that?
He
was. He didn't even score.
If you look at that replay, his elbow was down. The football didn't even cross, and it's just like we can't even get that. We suck. Now you guys are making me remember how I felt.
Blitzing.
I already forgot about that, and I was listening to Neil.
No blitzing. Not a single blitz the whole second half.
That blitz on that last play.
And the other defensive coordinators in this league, when you have to go down 70 yards, the quarterback's getting the crap kicked out of him on every blitz. At least if you hit him once or twice on a blitz, he's going to think about it twice sitting in the pocket. He's going to get rid of the ball quick. And maybe booty call, or maybe Ahmad turns around and catches a ball and we end the game or something happens that, no deflections. By the way, I don't think we've deflected a single pass this season. Not a single pass we've deflected. We haven't turned the ball over in 3 games.
Right. They nearly have 2 picks all year, and it's by a backup corner. So
Jesus
we can't even
Christ.
ball. When was the last time we fell on a fumble? How many
Oh.
times is the ball on the floor and our guys can't jump on it? It's like I don't know. Is it like like Wayne Corbett said it last night on Robby on their show that like nobody's going crazy. Like no one's like losing their mind and like getting into a fight or like just acting a fool.
They
like,
act like
acting
they've
nuts.
accepted losing. I think that's why I like
Yeah.
seeing
I
Devontae
know.
trying to like rally the defense at the end there. Like he still cares. The Jet swoon hasn't engulfed him yet, but it will. They lose Thursday, it will.
I mean, I watched the Giant game last night. The Giant defensive guys, they're high-fiving each other. You're getting excited. You know, they make a play and they're like chest bumping, and you know. And I'm going to tell you, Daboll is a rally guy, and he's a screamer. I mean, that's why we loved Rex, because he's on the sideline screaming and yelling, while our other coaches, they all look like.
And because Rex could scheme up a stop. We can't scheme up anything. We depend on the players' talent, and now that they're defeated, we look like shit on defense. Sauce looks like crap. I mean, Quinn has been playing better in the last 2 games since I was calling him out on his game. But even looking at Hassan Reddick on Sunday, he shoots off the ball around the quarterback every time. He's not like he's giving them a lane to scramble.
Yeah, but here's
like,
the thing, and here's the thing, Bones, and this is the biggest criticism of Douglas. When JJ went down, okay, that's when you go get Reddick. By now, he'd be in football shape. How do you expect the guy who's been sitting on the couch for 9 months to come in and sack the quarterback? These guys are not in shape.
I don't.
You know,
so I agree,
don't you
Neil.
think that would have been a better move, Jake? What do you
Yes, it's just look. I'm not a Douglas defender. This one, I want him gone. But the one thing I'll say about that is, it is clear Reddick himself was why he wasn't back. Like they had a deal worked out after the Pats game. To your point, and it was for $20 million reportedly, and he turned it down. Now he's playing on a deal that's less than what he's going to end up making. He's a fool.
But you know what? He wanted the money that he deserved based on his sack totals the previous 5 seasons.
But the mistake was not just getting Clowney, Neil, or the mistake was not just getting a deal done the second the deal was made with the trade with Philadelphia. That's where you could blame Douglas.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll blame Douglas in the fact that he didn't bring Huff back. Keep the defensive line.
What do you mean? Huff hasn't even recorded a sack.
I get it.
Huff
but
is
for
playing
us,
terrible.
He was perfect for us. He was
perfect in that role, but we would have needed Neil. But we would have needed Huff to be a 3-down player this year because we're so injured, and he would have just got eaten up. He's a great situational pass rusher.
Bones, we don't use 3-down players. We use this stupid replacement shit every single week. We don't have a 3-down defense. We don't have a player that plays 3 downs. Like 3 downs. Quentin Williams is on the sidelines half the game. He plays 60% of the snaps.
I'm saying he can't stop the run, though. Huff is not a big guy. He's like 6'2". He's a speed rusher, you know?
My point is $17 million. Here's the problem, Bones. When you're in a win all season, which we're in right now, that's when you spend the goddamn money. Pay the guy $17 million. What's the big
But wouldn't
deal?
you have been mad, though, Neil? Wouldn't you be mad right now if we gave Hassan Reddick the bag, and now we're stuck with him for another 2 years and the same exact...
Wait, hang on. Hang on. If we would have given him
the last point. This is the longest call in the history of the show.
Yeah, I'll go, Jake.
And he would have been in a training camp, the guy would be making an impact right now. What do you think? He's going to suck after he had 5 great years? He's not in shape. And right now, we could have used him. With him and McDonald together, when him in shape, we would have had plenty of sacks by now. And we went 2 games without a sack. We suck right now on the defensive line. We can't even get a sniff.
It's beyond that, though, Neil. Like, that's one problem. But, like, Reddick was his own worst enemy with that stuff. My biggest issue with Joe Douglas is the Greg Zuerlein situation. The second critical mistake he's made in a row.
Agree.
It's like it's not defendable. You lost your season last year by doing nothing at the quarterback spot. With the team, last year's Jet team was better than this year's team because the defense was far better and they didn't miss any kicks. This year, as you're watching Zuerlein cost you game after game, you're still doing nothing, and they still don't have a new kicker yet. And it's after 12:30 on Tuesday. They're playing in 2 days.
And I want to tell you one thing. Peter Castro gets a lot of credit for this because he and I talk because we watched the preseason. When he missed 2 shanks to the left in preseason,
we all said
remember,
that.
Jake? We were all starting to say, that's a little iffy. He never missed a shank in 3 seasons. He missed 2 chip shots in preseason.
Right.
And that right there is
Only the
know,
Jets,
that's a
Neil.
concern.
Only the Jets will have a guy not miss any field goals. We pay him, and then he goes this bad. Only
There's the problem.
Jets that could have.
He said the magic word. Because they paid him, they didn't want to bench him or get rid of him. That was the mistake. It's a tryout every year because kickers are like closers. They have a great year, then they suck. They have a great year, and then once they lose it, they lose it. He lost it in preseason. I saw it with my own 2 eyes that he missed 2 to the left. I forget what preseason game it was. And Peter Castro came on and said, hey, I'm worried about Zerline. He missed 2 real short kicks. And remember, Jake? And we were all like, yeah, that's a little bit of a concern. And in the meantime, Seibert was hitting every single kick down the middle. And we had him in our goddamn building. And we let the guy go. Bad.
Agreed.
All right,
Agreed.
Jake. You're the best, man.
You're the best, Jake.
You guys are great. This all started with Bonesy making a sale. Actually, it all started with a Joe Douglas debate. And then you made a sale. And also, according to Boomtown, who logs the show for us, he would know. Bonesy officially has the longest call in Jake Asman show history. So congratulations, Bonesy.
Let's go. It's an honor and a privilege. Jake,
ladies and gentlemen,
my brother.
Mr. Bonesy a deal. Shout out to Alan earlier, too. That was a moment right there. We could have done a best of the Jake Asman show just in the last 90 minutes. It feels like of this show. I got some super chats I got to catch up on. I also want to shout out our Patreon crew because we just got another Patreon subscriber. Best way to support me is to join the Patreon, get in the Discord, mix it up with your favorite Asmaniacs. If you're coming to the Texans game on Thursday, we'll have info about where we're tailgating and all that. So make sure you guys check the Discord tab under the Houston matchup for all that. Grody Nutsack is the name of our most recent Patreon subscriber. Also want to shout out that hamburger who signed up after the show yesterday. Zalix, Mimosa, Mosh Bahar, Miss Lady Damaz for all being our recent Patreon subscribers. Let me get caught up on the super chats here. Apologize for the delay, but we had absolute madness there. Bobby Salty Nuts wrote at 11:24 a.m. Wow, we're an hour behind. Damn. Bobby's a diva. He does not wait in line. Man, we could have had him on, but he left. Michael writes in, Salo led the 23 Jets with the worst quarterback of all time to 8-9 if you count the KC game after getting gut punched 4 plays into the year. You can't count the KC game because then I could say, well, then we can't count the Giants game where the Jets should have lost, right? But I will agree with you. Salo getting 7 wins out of that team last year was impressive. But how did he do it? Well, the defense was better last year. They weren't injured. And Greg Zuerlein didn't miss kicks. How many games did they win because of Greg the Leg? That's the biggest difference. The crime in it all is despite Aaron Rodgers not being what he was and clearly playing through an injury, if you had what we're getting from Rodgers right now and you put him on last year's Jets team, they win 10 games. Like what we asked for on Sunday from Rodgers was what we were dying for last year. Just be a competent quarterback. Rodgers was competent on Sunday. Was he great? No. Was he awful? No. Did he lead them on a game-winning drive until the Jets defense gagged and got dog walk at the end? Yeah. They should have won that game. Like, Aaron was competent on Sunday. That was the whole premise of this year. We're supposed to be enough with competent quarterback play to be a playoff team, and it's not. Now they need more from him, and I don't know if he's capable of doing it, healthy enough to do it, etc. Maybe, to Neil's point, if they could somehow, maybe by divine intervention, win on Thursday and then get 9 days to get healthy for Arizona, maybe he could play a lot better. And if they could somehow, this is all fool's gold, feels like a pipe dream. I don't expect this to happen. I think they're going to lose Thursday. But if you want to somehow try and find hope before it's officially over, if they could somehow get Aaron a little healthier for Arizona, maybe they win that game, come home. Maybe they could beat the Colts, who stink right now. And then you have a bye to get even more healthy before the stretch run. That's it. 5 and 6 of the bye, maybe. Do I see that happening? No. But I'm just saying, like, that is one path to it, I guess. Bo says, the proof is our record and the atrocity we're forced to watch week after week. This is what Douglas established. That's why Douglas must go. Yeah, the record's the record, man. He missed on quarterback, missed on coach, catastrophic mistake with backup quarterback last year, catastrophic mistake this year with Greg Zuerlein. He's got to go. Michael says, before the year started, we said we had the second best roster in football. Enough with the kicker. We could have lost Tennessee, Buffalo, New England, Pitt better than us. Travis is the GOAT. That's silly, Michael. Come on. You need a good kicker to win. The Patriots won how many Super Bowls because of kicking? The Jets don't beat Peyton Manning and the Colts in 2010 in the playoffs without Nick Folk getting a game-winning kick. Zuerlein's not their only issue, obviously, but If you had replacement level kicking, you have a couple more wins right now. Let's not deny that. That matters. Michael says, could Woody be telling Joe D we're paying the kicker $4.5 million? We aren't cutting him. I doubt that. Then why did Woody pay for Devontae? Why did he get the Reddick deal done? This is on Joe Douglas. He put his faith in Greg Zuerlein, and it has failed. And it's a huge mistake. Dylan says, the Jets bringing Rex back is like being seduced by your ex. Sign me up, 50-50 on it right now. Keep up the great work, Jake. Can't wait for our funeral, Thursday Night Football. I'll be there. By the way, our poll, I am actually really shocked. We have 1,000 votes in. Should the Jets rehire Rex Ryan? 65% are saying yes. 35% no. I don't know. I'm surprised it's that high. I think there's a lot of nostalgia there. I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. I'm not as against it as some. Like Sabo was vehemently against him. We had him on the first hour today. Once again, shout out to Adam again for the $50 super chat because Bonesy sold a pair of shoes on the air. That was amazing. New Jersey super trucker. Greg could use a boot that man had on. Amen. 25 writes in, all of New York sports is awful. Only thing keeping me sane is my $10 bet that won $2,700 on Giants and Steelers. You had a $10 parlay that hit for $2,700. What was the parlay? Philly Noodles. How do we feel about a Darnold reunion if no Rodgers? I mean, Sam Darnold and drafting a quarterback is not a bad strategy. It's basically what the Vikings did. Now, Sam's played well enough, though, he might have a chance to start and be a guy for someone. Maybe it's for Minnesota, right? But what did they trade J.J. McCarthy? Well, they let him sit again. He's coming off injury now. What if he sits for 2 years? It's not completely unprecedented. I mean, Jordan Love ended up sitting for 3. Doesn't happen often in today's NFL, but I don't know. Kyle says, rating women is demeaning, except Margot Robbie. Well said. Barney says, short term, are we talking about special teams, punt coverage, not pinning inside the 5, plus Craig slump, 12 points lost Sunday, fire Boyer. I do think Brant Boyer's run as the special teams coordinator is coming to an end. He has survived a lot of different head coaches. I think he's gone at the end of the year if they blow it all up. Barney says, at the Bills game, he doinked the kick in warmups. Yeah, and guess what? He missed an easy kick against the Patriots in that blowout win. He hasn't been good all year. It goes back to the summer. And the Jets continuing to stand by him is moronic. Luppy with a 5 spot of super chats. Hell yeah, Luppy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lupp Man. In fact, I actually misspoke. It's a 5 spot of channel memberships. So let's find out who got them. Janorius Pina, Guillermo Gorel Martin, Peter Castro. How about that? Don Reck and Spin to Ben, all receiving a membership. If you want a membership, subscribe to the channel, turn on gift receipts, and you got a chance to get one. Let me check. Oh, I just got a text from Kenny Scarbaccio. Hey, Neil, if you're still watching, I was looking for Neil after the game to pay the bill. Tell him I'll Venmo him. Wow, Neil. Kenny was watching the show. I wouldn't worry, Kenny. Neil's just messing with you. But that's very nice of you. Hector says, the Three Stooges on camera talking about fantasies and how the Jets will win. The Jets are not winning again this season. Stop the BS. Clearly, you don't listen, Hector, because I very clearly told you I think they're going to lose Thursday. Your day is done. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. All right, I got time for 2 more calls, and then we're doing another show in like 3 hours. So, get a lot of me today. I didn't think the show was to be. I said to myself, 90 minutes tops. And here we are. It's 2 hours and 33 minutes later. Hamburger and Kevin wrap us up today. What's up, Hamburger?
Hey, what's up, Jake? Tuesday's my favorite show with Robby. Really is. It's awesome to listen to.
Thank you, man.
There's a lot of things that worry me now that we bring up Rex Ryan. If Rex Ryan is this coach on the team, would you agree with me that means Joe Douglas is back? Because what GM is going to pick Rex Ryan at this point? You know what I mean? Who's going to if you're getting rid of Joe Douglas, which I hope and pray right now, Woody's already made that decision. That's why he's not even moving kickers. That's why he's not doing that, because Woody was the one that got the Hot Don Reddick deal and all that done. So who's to say that even Joe's doing anything right now? But if he's fired, we get another GM. The GM's going to make that decision, right? So I don't think any GM is going to pick Rex Ryan. So I think that's just it's nice to think about, but I don't think I hope that's not going to happen. And another thing, and if that's the case, that means that Woody's maybe nervous that another GM is going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, which I think Woody does not want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers at any cost. So I think there's a lot of things that play into this. And if we go on a run and we do all that, listen, man, I just hope Joe Douglas isn't back. And then we run it with Ryan. It scares the hell out of me. It really does. It's just dysfunction after dysfunction. And I'm with Robby. I don't want Rex Ryan here. I remember it too well. And the personnel decisions, all that, listen, he was an awesome guy, like I said before. I love him as a personality. I think he's an awesome person. He loves the Jets. He's beloved in this franchise by a lot of fans, obviously with the bowl. But listen, I don't agree with it. I don't want to go the nostalgia route. I don't think it's something we should do. It scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I get it. It's not my first choice. It's just I'm not going to completely dismiss it till I hear who his staff would be, what GM would be. Like, what if he gets the Lions assistant GM with him, right? And he's got a relationship with him because his son is an assistant on the Lions coaching staff. Like, am I more open to that? Maybe,
Yeah, scares me, man. It's nerve-wracking to think of what's going to happen with this year. So I don't like to hope the Jets win. I hope the Jets lose. But I think if we go on a run and we creep the playoffs, I don't know, man. I think Joe Douglas would be back at that point.
Well, if they go on a run and make the playoffs, you're more willing to consider it, obviously. That'd be a remarkable run. They're 2-6.
I don't want him back at all at this point. Everything that I see, the non-decision to get rid of the kicker, and it compounds. Coaching's so bad. Everything is bad. That's why we're not winning. Coaching, It's just.
I think they got a clean house. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to end up happening here. They're 2-6.
I don't see it happening. It's too much dysfunction all around. Every aspect of the Jets. It's dysfunction.
Hamburger, great call. Thanks for waiting.
No problem.
The great Hamburger, check it in. If you just tuned into this show, my God, did you miss a lot? 25 goes, I'm Grody Nutsack, LOL. I just posted my slip in the Discord. All right, I actually have his slip here. He's telling the truth. 25 was able to turn a $10 6-pick parlay where on DraftKings where he boosted it up from plus 18,000 to plus 27,000. Here's what he hit on. Russell Wilson, over 225 passing yards. George Pickens, over 70 receiving yards. Malik Neighbors, over 70 receiving yards. Tyrone Tracy Jr., 40-plus rushing yards. Najee Harris, 80-plus rushing yards. Daniel Jones, over than 225 passing yards. $10 turned into $2,710. Well done by 25. See? We had another guy that tried to claim they had like a big bet against the Jets, and they won all this money, and we called him out on it. He couldn't produce the slip. That's well done. All right, one last call. We say hello to Kevin, and then we wrap because I really got to pee. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Jake. First of all, I didn't know that Joe B was a freeloader. So you're gonna have to ask him about that on his local spot on Mondays.
Yeah.
But to the Rex Ryan thing, listen, originally I was anti-Rex bringing him back, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I hear arguments about it. I think the league's changed in a way that the head coach is more of that type of CEO leadership position, which I think Rex does well. I think Rex has been around the league enough to understand adjustments he would need to make. And I agree with you. If he brings in competent coordinators on the offensive side and the defensive side, Rex is the type of guy that get a team to run through a wall for him. And he did bring us to the playoffs twice. And even in those other 2 seasons, listen, we went 8-8. And so we had 2 losing seasons under Rex out of 6. And even his Buffalo seasons, they didn't go well, but they weren't total disasters either. He was 8-8 and 7-8 before they fired him. So they were always hanging around, which is actually something that for recent Jet fans, we wish we had. So I think Rex would be motivated. He has a good relationship with the Johnson family, probably the best out of any head coach that we've had. I don't I don't think the idea is as crazy as we first thought, originally bringing back Rex. It would fire up the fan base. You saw in your poll, the fans still love Rex. I think it might be actually a smart move. I get what Robby Sabo is saying. I don't think he's going to have his fingers in as much of the defensive schemes as people may think. I think he's looking to oversee the management of the team. And like you said, though, and like Hamburger said, you have to kind of have some type of bring in a GM with Rex at the same time. So that's going to get creative, and that's going to get kind of hard to trickle out. But I really think it could work. And the more I think about it, also, who was his quarterback in those 2 years in Buffalo? Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, is possibly our starter next year with a rookie quarterback sitting behind him. So I don't know. There's definitely some things that make sense about the move, and I'm not totally opposed to it. And the more I think about it, the more actually I'm getting behind it, because I'm done. Any Jets fan is done with these first-time coordinators. I can't do it.
So I agree with a lot of that, Kevin. I don't think it's as crazy as it once sounded for a lot of the reasons you said. However, there are other guys out there that have coached more recently, had more success recently, that have experience more recently than Rex, that I would lean with over him. Stefanski, if he's fired, Mike Vrabel, for example, even Cliff Kingsbury getting a second chance as an offensive-minded guy, I don't think is the worst idea in the world if you're going to be drafting a quarterback, which you likely would be. So, like, that to me is kind of what I would consider before I would look at Rex. But I'll take Rex over a first-time DC that's never done it. I'll take Rex over, someone that's like the hot coordinator, unless it's like Ben Johnson. I really would.
I just don't think Ben Johnson's coming here. I don't know if Vrabel will come here. So I guess my thought of it is, will Stefanski come here? Maybe, probably. I mean, there's only 32 head coaching jobs. That's why all the fans are like, nobody's want to come to the Jets. I'm
That's
like,
not true.
That's
Yep.
nonsense. This is the biggest media market in the country. It's one of 32, only 5 positions open up or 4 positions open up a year. People will step over each other to come here. Okay, that's just not true. It's not a real narrative.
It's generational money you get paid when you're the head coach in the NFL, especially. And also, you can say a lot of things about Woody. He's not cheap with paying his coaches. He's paying a lot of guys that don't work for the team right now, and they get paid well.
100%. And like I said, the Jets are the 5th most valuable franchise in the entire NFL. Again, it's New York. Okay, so I got it. So, and people, and these guys have egos. Everybody wants to be the guy that can turn it around. So I think we're going to have a competitive market. But yeah, I mean, I throw Rex in the top 3 choices for me now, and I didn't think that a couple months ago, but the idea's grown on me. That's all.
Fair call, Kevin. Good call. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm my first choice, but I think you should get an interview. I want to hear who we'd want on the staff. Rex hired an amazing coaching staff in 2009. Look at the guys who ended up being head coaches in the league. All right, and Rex's son is on the Lions staff right now. I'm sure they could poach some guys from that staff. It's not the worst idea if there's checks and balances established. I don't want Rex overseeing personnel. That's when it went to shit. Rex won with Mangini's players that were supplemented by some of the free agent moves and trades that Tannenbaum made that were good at the time. Trading for Holmes, trading for Edwards, signing LaDainian Tomlinson, signing Jason Taylor, signing Calvin Pace, signing Bart Scott, signing Jim Leonard. Like, those are the good moves that supplemented the team. And Dan Campbell, doesn't he kind of remind you of what Rex Ryan is? If Rex can get some coaches with that attitude from the Lions staff, I'm on board. I don't think it's the worst idea. It's not my first choice, not my second choice, not my third choice. But it's not as crazy as it once sounded, if you really think about it. Plus, I do think hearing Rex talk about this on the Pivot podcast and his weekly hits, he cares. He brings passion. Like, this team kind of needs it. Brings an attitude. He can handle New York. Fan base will be on board. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen, though, but, I didn't think the Jets would be 2-6 with this kind of talent, so I guess you never know. 25 writes in, praying this 15-leg money line for 30K hits. If it does, 25, God bless. Go play the lottery next if you hit a 15-leg money line parlay after hitting a 10-leg parlay yesterday. Barney says Rex won't be afraid to fire the kicker. Yeah. I don't know, man. Fun show, wild show. Bonesy sold a pair of shoes live on the air. Neil, Allen, and Bonesy went at it. It was out of control. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Do me a favor, all right? If you're still watching, before you check out on this Jets season, which one more loss, I could see it happening. I'm at 39,922 subscribers. If you could click the subscribe button on the right-hand side, it helps the show, and I'm trying to get to 40K. Plus, like the video before you leave. We're back in a few hours, 4 p.m. Eastern. Andrew Fialco joins us, do a little film review, do a little more State of the Jets, and much more. Super chat at the buzzer, 25. I'm up 5K in 2 weeks. Damn, don't lose it, man. Don't be dumb. Stick to those $10 parlays. Anyway. Thank you all for your support. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Watch party tonight. Hopefully it's not a funeral for the Yankees. They could extend the series. But I'll be at Vanderbilt Market with Team ESPN watching the game. Open for all who want to attend. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in a few hours. Go Jets. And please, for the love of God, hang in there, everybody.
So we're going to get into all of it here. Again, my name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We come 2 hours after every final whistle here for the postgame show. And I'm going to be honest. The only good thing that happened to me late tonight, early this morning, was making sweet, passionate love to my fiance, which I did after the article was written and that kind of stuff. That's the only good thing that happened. Not great. Terrible.
Here it is. Little Victor Cruz dance. Oh, Victor. Woo. I'm doing a little salsa, baby. Yeah.